You want to be center field, catcher, second base, right? He plays a hot position. And in this division, there are other shortstops who are playing decent baseball. You got Pena over there with Houston. He was a 4-1 WAR, 15 home runs, 70 RBIs, 701 OPS. You got Seager, who's day-to-day right now. He's banged up, but he had 30 bombs last year, 864 OPS. And then you got the kid Zach in Anaheim with 23 bombs, 761 OPS. You look at JP, when that team needs you the most, right? And we focus on, the beginning of the year, you got to get off to a great start.
Yeah.
But then you get into the summer, and that's when everyone expects this team, especially Julio Rodriguez, to really turn things on. And my man struggled in the summer. I believe in August, July, he was batting 164, 7 RBIs. But he had, 2, 3 RBI games. It was 239 on base percentage. He wasn't doing what he's good at. So, yeah, I think it's easy for people to not forget JP, but to kind of give him a pass because you have bigger names and bigger expectations for Julio and now Randy. Throw Robles in there as well. You got Cal. There are guys who have that personality in that game that requires your attention and has that power to it. And because JP doesn't have that power to him, I think sometimes he slept through the cracks a little bit. So, we're not calling him out. We're just keeping him accountable, holding him accountable. Like, look, JP, if JP is the guy that we saw, a couple of years ago, this team looks different. Not just him. He's going to need some help from everyone else,
and
too.
he doesn't, and you've pointed this out before, he doesn't need to have those exact numbers. You just need to do something. Be solid at something. You know what I mean? Like, he had a career high in walks, not in that career year. Maybe you get those walks back up. Maybe it's just one thing that you're able to do. Maybe you never hit that home run total again. I don't think he will. That could end up being his career high in home runs because it's not really his profile, and that's okay. Get on base. Make that your profile.
Get on base.
Get on base. A couple other names to the Mac and Jack's text line bump. People are trying to send in Julio Rodriguez, but like Julio Rodriguez trying to trick me. Nice workaround. JP was the second most common answer. We've also got a couple I'm going to throw your way, though, that I don't necessarily agree with, but I think are interesting answers. A couple of people said Jorge Polanco.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
Really?
Yeah, second base. Didn't get the production you wanted out of him. And he's in a new position now, right? He's going to play that third base. And we talked to Shannon a couple weeks ago. She says that his knee did more to his game than he was leading on to believe, and that people actually realized. So now him being healthy for the most part, let's see if that changes his game. Because, you don't have to be a swing expert to know that all your power comes from your base. And if you're not able to be healthy down there in anything, in football, basketball, soccer, baseball, whatever, your base, your core is everything, and that affects him. So let's see what he looks like when he's healthy. He's playing in a new position, and we know there's been some ballers there over the past few years. Let's go to Gino. We can skip last year, but a couple of years ago there was a baller there. So if he can do that, and this team can be solid at second base, we'll see if it's going to be Demo or Bliss, and then you get your shortstop being who we thought he is or who he's been over the past few years. I like the direction of this team. I like their chances, at least.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting here claiming playoffs. I'm not sitting here saying World Series type of team. I'm just saying let's just get through this first month or so with everyone healthy, and let's see if they're improving off of what they did last year.
For the record, I did see some people saying maybe Logan Gilbert or, another one of the pitchers. I did not choose. My answers 1 through 3 or 4 were very intentionally not an arm. Because I don't know what else you can ask of them. I do think for each one of these, pitchers, each one of these starters, particularly your younger guys, like Miller, Kirby, Logan, there is an area where they can grow and where they can step forward. I don't know what else they could have done. They were the best 1 through 5 in baseball. So I'm not looking at them going, I need more. I'm looking at very intentionally the position players and going, what can you do? Probably the second or third most popular answer was Mitch Garver.
Yeah.
And a lot of people saying, look, there's not a ton of pop in the lineup. He does have power potential. You're not looking at him to, hit the 279 that Julio did last year, or even be like an everyday player. You are looking at him to do more than he did, 178 or something last season.
Yeah, 172.
I forget how many bombs, not nearly enough.
15 bombs the year before that, 19. But we need the guy that was with the Rangers.
Yeah.
That's all you need. And that's not asking much. 270 average, just slugging 500 OPS at 870, hit 19 bombs, 50 RBIs. it's a common theme, Stacy. We're saying just be the guy that we think you can be. Be the guy that you've been before. And, yeah, there's not a lot of pop in this lineup, and he has to bring that. But I think that if he gets going, Cal gets going, Julio and Randy, there's some pop right there.
Yeah.
But it all has to happen at once. It all has to be fluid. And we just haven't seen that yet. So I'm excited to see a full season with this group, too. And I'm also excited that we talked about it yesterday, man. There are some changes going on. You're moving Polanco to third. You got maybe Bliss at second. We're looking at first base and see if Rowdy's going to get some reps there as well. That provides some flexibility for Luke to go on the outfield. It's not the team that we thought that we were going to see, but we're here. It is Tuesday. The season starts on Thursday. We have to accept who they are and hope that they perform the way the organization thinks they can.
So that you guys know, I'm looking at the Mac and Jack's text line, and the two most popular answers after Julio Rodriguez are the two that we've already talked about with J.P. Crawford and Mitch Garver. Those were the two most popular answers I was seeing. They were not the only ones. I saw some folks say Cal Raleigh. Some people said Logan Gilbert. There were some other ones. However, the third most popular answer was not a player at all.
It's a group.
I saw multiple people say either it's on the front office or it's on Dan Wilson.
I also think, Dan, I attribute some pressure to Dan, but I also realize there's only so much that he could do. He's not an offensive coordinator. He's not a head coach. It's just different. Another group that I think I put in our email last night too is just the bullpen. We don't talk enough about the bullpen. I know Munoz has added a pitch to his repertoire. We'll see how that goes. But there are times when Munoz struggles, right? He goes to like a week or two where he doesn't look the same. His back is hurt or he's banged up. We'll see what happens there. Santos, we haven't seen a full season out of Santos. Brash, what is he going to look like? There are some questions there as well. But this is the beauty of sports. This is what it is. You got to have every unit perform well, from your rotation to your bullpen, infielders, outfielders, and they all got to get the bats going. And then the guys upstairs got to make sure that if something isn't going as planned, you're not afraid to make a move midseason. Yeah,
exactly, right? And again, as critical as we've been of the front office, you and I both had a lot of praise for their midseason moves.
Yeah.
Not every single one, but at the time we thought Randy Arozarena is a great ad.
Yep.
And even now entering the season, I'm shocked we haven't mentioned Randy. I'm actually surprised that no one texted in Randy Arozarena is very clearly under the most pressure outside of Julio, because he has the most potential, or at least has shown the most consistency and ability behind Julio. This outfield in general, I wonder, Bump, if some of the very understandable criticism about the offseason is also keeping us from wondering about a potentially higher ceiling for certain position groups. The outfield is one of those groups.
The outfield, to me, as a group, other than the rotation, right, is the most talented group you have out there. Defensively, they should be solid. Offensively, there's mad potential there. Everyone's expecting. I was driving to work today talking to my friend, and he does not watch baseball. He does not watch baseball. And he goes, man, what's up with Julio, man? Like, the first 2 years, he was nice. What's going on? And I go, the fact that you don't watch baseball and you're saying that, it says a lot. It means that the word is out and everyone knows that Julio has to go. And then he also mentioned they got some other Dominicans in the outfield too, right? I go, look at you, man. Asking baseball question. I go, yeah, man, look out for Randy and Victor Robles. So it doesn't take a baseball savant to know that, at least I think, that the most potential on this team, if we're not talking about the rotation, has to be in the outfield when it comes to offensive production and just defensive stability.
Opening day is almost here. Again, it's on the 27th, Thursday. We are sending one of you and a friend to experience it like never before. Here's what's going to happen. Imagine getting front row access to opening day ceremonies, player introductions, the first pitch, and so much more, all from the field. To enter, all you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. Now, if you don't already have the app, that's okay. Just text the word app, A-P-P, to 866-979-3776, and we will send you a link to download. You can also obviously download it wherever you would normally find your apps, like the App Store. Enter daily to increase your chances to win. This contest runs through Friday, March 21st. By the way, there are still tickets available for opening day. So if you haven't bought yours, or if you're not entering the contest, there is still time to get them. Let's go to Headline Rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline Rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, USC superstar Juju Watkins tore her ACL last night in the Trojans' second-round win over Mississippi State. She will miss the rest of the women's NCAA tournament. What's the real headline?
Yeah, and hopefully that loss doesn't take eyes with it. That's what I was wondering, too, right? Like, I think that the women's bracket, more than the men's, depends on some stars to kind of carry the load there, and she is one of them, if not the biggest.
And honestly, the women's game probably has a few more stars than the men's game right now. It's just that the men have tradition. We've seen Bama rise and Houston and Duke and all these guys. We're used to seeing these guys. So it's important that these ladies play. And it's unfortunate, man. I just turned the game on. That's the first thing I saw was Juju go down. And I knew exactly what it was, man. It's sad to see because her against Paige Beckers would have been an awesome matchup. And you needed that. And so far, going through her sophomore year, she was actually like 47 to 50 points ahead of Caitlin Clark's pace. So she potentially could have broken Caitlin Clark's record. I don't expect her to be healthy for the start of the season next year. We shall see. Curtis and I were talking about it. The ACL ain't like a 12-month injury anymore. It used to be like 12 to 14 months, and we shall see. Technology is different. Big ups to Juju, man. I think she's the best hooper in the country. Unfortunate to see her go down.
You know, a really, really crazy recovery that we don't talk about as much, too. Obviously, like in football, AP has gotten a lot of attention, rightfully so, because he had like the best season ever coming back. But for the Seahawks, shout out Jordan Brooks.
Yeah.
He made a crazy recovery back as well. Like, there's been some really, really impressive. I don't think I remember hearing, I forget who the player was. It might have been Jimmy Graham or another player, but he was talking about getting up at like 4 or 5 in the morning to do rehab and then have scar tissue removed and do all this stuff. And this was early in my career. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, this is stuff you already know. But I remember thinking, wow, I didn't even realize how grueling rehab is. Exactly. Like, what's the most, like when you were coming back from your foot injury, it's not just, oh, and then you do this workout and then you test it. Like, there's like a medical process along the way, right?
Well, mine, knock on wood, I'm so glad I got out without an ACL or something like that. I broke a bone in my foot. But it's really the mental part of it, too, because these guys can handle pain. You play football, and then you start working on your flexibility. That's the worst part. But it's going out there and believing that your knee is going to hold up. I can run full speed, put my foot in the ground, and cut that way. I dealt with that, and I just got a screw in my foot. I couldn't imagine I'm going through an ACL or something like that. But, I mean, these are top, the top athletes in the world. So their mental is a bit different.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, Matt Brash made his first relief appearance in September 2023 in the Mariners Cactus League finale. He threw a scoreless 2/3 of an inning while striking out 2. What's the real headline?
It's too late, folks. It's too late. I have hope now.
Oh, no.
I have hope. I'm sorry. I am sorry.
We talked about this.
I know, but we've been talking about the Mariners for days leading up to this. I went from being incredibly critical about the offseason to starting to wonder, like, well, I don't know. Julio, he wasn't hurt in spring. He had a little bit of a bug, but he's bouncing back. We'll see what goes on. What do you mean Logan's the opening day starter? I'm feeling good about Logan. It's too late. It's too late. I've caught the hope bug.
That's what happens.
I know.
You're supposed to.
I tried to fight it.
You go into a season just with all negative vibes, you're not going to enjoy any moments. There are going to be some good moments. This team cannot make the playoffs, and you're going to have some fun moments, man. You play too many games not to, but I'm right there with you. I go from super critical. I go from disappointed because you didn't make the playoffs to super critical as the winter goes along and the spring comes around. Now I'm interested. All right, what's going on over there? Oh, you got a pitcher who can throw with both arms? Let me see that guy. Oh, you got Munoz who added a pitch to his repertoire. Let's see that. Oh, Julio has balance in the box. All right, let's get it. Who's the opening day starter? Logan. Okay, it's a build-up. So, yeah, it's a natural feeling. Now they just have to take advantage of the excitement that's created, even though there are a lot of people who don't share the same feelings we do right now.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, J.J. McCarthy says the Vikings have not told him he's their starting quarterback going into 2025. What's the real headline?
Look, considering Brett Rippon is the only other guy in the room, I think J.J. can figure this one out on his own.
Yeah. Come on. J.J., you're picked for a reason. You're the guy. And I love the offense for him. I've said this before, but I love the offense that J.J. is going to be in with the Vikings because it's under center, it's play action, it's what he did in Michigan. Michigan wasn't great because J.J. just tore it up throwing the football across the field. They were great because they had a great defensive line, a good run game, play action off it, and he just made good decisions. It's fun to see where the NFL is going, because for a while it's spread them up, let's throw the ball all across the yard, but now you're getting back to more balance. And I think that just helps your quarterback, because these GMs and owners are asking these young men to come in the league and throw the ball 40, 45 times a game. And if you don't do it accurately in 2 years, we're going to get rid of you. Yeah. This is how you nurture and take care of a quarterback. So, JJ, you know the deal, man.
Curtis, you got people mad at you on the Mac and Jack's text line.
About what?
I don't know. They're just upset with you.
Okay.
Someone's upset. Did you not pick Duke to win it all for the bracket? Who did you choose your? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Okay, interesting choice.
And they're still alive.
How far did you take your Wildcats?
Elite Eight
Okay. Have them losing to
Alabama.
I chose Alabama all the way. It was stupid.
I took Duke in one bracket, Auburn in the other.
What's your better bracket so far?
The one where I have Duke.
Okay.
Yeah.
Auburn got a little bit of a scare.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of a scare. It's between Duke and Florida. Those are the obvious two choices, right?
Nothing's obvious in March Madness.
Yeah, Auburn's
Really?
been the
Goes
best
down.
team throughout the season.
Duke.
Houston played Auburn and Duke earlier in the season, didn't beat either, but came really close.
Who's on Fraud Watch?
Who's on fraud?
Who's on Fraud Watch?
At this point,
Florida nearly got knocked off.
well, they won by 2 the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the great thing about this, is that the weak get weeded out. I mean, even if you have a run by like a George Mason back in 2006, I mean, if you're winning 3 or 4 games in a row, I don't think you're fraud. You're just a good basketball team, and you're hot right now. It's the weak are gone, and I think it's anyone's turning. I think Florida can get it. Auburn, Duke, Arkansas is in
I'm
the
gonna
mix.
start going for Arkansas. my grandma's home state.
Have
My
you
family.
been?
No, I've never been to Arkansas.
No?
But I know that my grandma, despite spending a good chunk of her life not in Arkansas, still had an accent. She sounds like Jerry. Well, rest in peace, Grandma. But she sounded like Jerry Jones. I remember
Really?
hearing Jerry Jones for the first time before knowing he was from Arkansas and thinking, he sounds like my grandma. There's like a very particular accent. It's not deep South or like how people think of a Southern drawl. It's like softer.
Some twang in there.
I don't know how to describe an Arkansas or like that general area accent other than like it's a soft Southern accent, and just once in a while it's almost like Midwestern. Like they're the ones that say Washington.
Yeah, Washington.
Anyways, the latest mock draft has a surprise pick for the Seahawks at 18. That's next.
Baseball is back. Julio Rodriguez and the 2025 Mariners are ready to play ball.
God, Julio, home run!
Opening day is just 2 days away.
It's a mentality. It's time to battle. It's time to fight.
Seattle Sports will be live from Soto all day, including Wyman and Bob at Victory Hall from 2 to 6 p.m. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners, and your exclusive home for opening day.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it.
Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With AutoPay plus taxes and fees, plus $5 per line without AutoPay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Motorola Edge on us with 24 monthly bill credits and new line for well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 per line connection charge. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Charger sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Bracket busted? Don't worry, Madness Maniacs, you still have a shot at winning. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 16-team bracket. It's not too late to join in on the fun. It's the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 16-team competition will win a $500 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. I'm here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. When you're dealing with business owners and the idea that they owe money to the IRS and they feel like they might be letting their staff down and it just spirals out of control.
One thing I see with businesses, it's really tough because they have employees and maybe they're having a difficult time with the cash flow of the business. Then unfortunately, what a business often does is they quit making their payroll tax deposits, which is really about the worst thing you could be doing. I mean, it's a telltale sign if you're doing that. Hey, get someone that can help you kind of look at your business and see if things can be changed so that you can operate your business better and make those payroll tax deposits. Because let me tell you this, the IRS is on those right away.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, you have to call Greg Nunn of None Better Tax Resolution. From stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Swedish Cyberknife has been serving the Pacific Northwest with innovative and compassionate care since 2006. Being able to precisely and accurately deliver radiation makes a difference in terms of controlling cancer and reducing the risk of side effects. The treatment is completed in only 5 sessions, lasting less than an hour. Patient surveys consistently give Swedish Cyberknife the highest of rankings. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Hello. Welcome to the Lee Johnson Auto Family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name. It's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close, and they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The latest Seahawks mock draft has an interesting pick for Seattle at number 18 overall. Daniel Jeremiah put this one together for NFL.com. At number 18, Bump, he's got the Seattle Seahawks on the clock selecting Michigan tight end Colston Loveland. He says the Seahawks might have bigger needs, but the value is just too great to pass up.
I prefer Loveland.
Loveland.
That just sounds better to me.
Colston Loveland.
Loveland. My man is a great football player. Ran a 4.7 40, 56 receptions, 582 yards, and 5 touchdowns when I went back and I'm watching him play, I watched his game against Oregon and then his game against Ohio State. He's not your typical tight end. I think people who are of my age, right, 80s babies or older, we think of tight ends initially, and we think of that big bruiser, hand in the dirt constantly. Let's go get it. Now, he's not small. He's like 6'5", 250 pounds or something like that. But it took me like 3 series watching that Oregon game before I saw him attached to the line of scrimmage with his hand in the dirt. He's a guy who can move to the outside. I don't think in the NFL he will play a lot on the outside. You know, Jimmy Graham did it as well. Probably just more in red zone situations where you can just body some guys up because obviously he's not as fast as a typical receiver out there. But in college, he moved outside. He was in the slot, hand in the dirt. Also was in that wing position and was good in the run game as well. I think of Cooper Kupp. I think if you watch some film of Cooper Kupp, they used him, at least with the Rams. They put him in that wing spot, and they had him blocking ends. They had him leading up and taking on linebackers. That's something that I saw Loveland do over there with Michigan. He's just an all-around good football player. And I think that if they were to make this move, it makes sense because you look at the tight end room, and there isn't a tight end like him. A.J. Barner has some things to work on. I think he's going to be solid. Noah Fant, we know who he is. He's more of a receiving type tight end. This guy does a little bit of everything. So I love the way they used him in the run game. You move him around and try to get some matchups with him. He's a big kid at 6'5" and a decent speed with 4.7.
It was during the playoffs, I think, and I remember you looking at that a few of the playoff teams had in common that a tight end was either the number 1 or 2 target or just like a massive part of their game, if I'm remembering correctly. And you were just kind of doing a deep dive into like, look, the best offenses in football do make use of tight ends. Like, I know that it's a position that can be overlooked, except for it feels like every year there's like maybe 2 names that everyone pays attention to. And then, you know, if I said, well, who's Kansas City's backup tight end, or, you know, who's the leading tight end? Well, with the Chargers, you'd know because it's Disley. But like, you know, with fill in the blank team,
Right.
You know, especially if you weren't playing fantasy football, you might not know. Like, it's a position that's kind of like hit or miss with quite a few teams. That being said, Seattle has missed. Like, they really have. It's been like a really weird history here with tight ends. One of the most polarizing figures is actually the most successful. Jimmy Graham, 923 yards, was the most ever by a tight end in the last decade. That was in 2016. The next closest, if I were to ask listeners, like, okay, outside of Jimmy Graham, who is the next most productive tight end? The next most productive tight end over the last decade in Seattle, I think people might wonder, well, Zach Miller? You know, does that count? You know, was he here in 14 or did he go to 15? You know, maybe just outside the next decade. Maybe you'd guess Will Disley. But no, it's Noah Fant. So that is now 2 tight ends, neither of which Seattle drafted, to have been the most productive tight ends for you in terms of receiving yards. 500 for Noah Fant in 2024. Will Disley, the most he ever had with Seattle was 349 receiving yards in 2022. And for context, all 3 of Jimmy Graham's seasons are the top 3 spots for the most single-season receiving yards by a Seahawks tight end in the last decade.
Uncle Will was getting $12 million a year with 300 and something yards in a season, which is crazy. And I think what the Hawks were thinking is when he's healthy, he's good. But he kept getting banged up. But big ups, Uncle Will, man. I ain't mad at you. Get your money. But there's been a struggle at the tight end position. But I think Noah Fant is good, man. And I think if you just understand your personnel and you ask him to do the things that you know he can execute, he can have a big season, I think. But I also think that you need 2-3 tight ends that are a bit different, too. You don't want the same type of tight end. Like, just like we look at receivers. You got 3 different receivers.
Yeah.
People want to lump JSN and Cooper Kupp together. They're not the same type of receiver. Then you have Marquez over there as well. You look at the running back position. You got 3 different type of running backs: Ken Walker, Zach Charbonnet, and Kenny McIntosh. The variety is good. So I wouldn't be upset if they wouldn't grab the tight end at this spot. I think that if they feel he's the best available, if they think he's the best available, you go ahead and get it, because they've been connected to another offensive lineman who I'm going to talk about in 4-down territory, right? And I'm just looking at their patterns at this point. Their pattern and what I'm seeing is that they're going to swing at some of these offensive linemen who are veterans. And I feel like, well, I know they're going to go grab them an offensive lineman in the draft. We've spoken to several experts. One says, yeah, there is some talent at that guard spot that you should go get. I think Brooks over there with Alabama, if he's available. Then others say, no, you can wait and get this guy later on in the draft. That's me. I think that later on in the draft, you can get yourself a couple guards and see what's up there, and then you can develop. At 18, it's best available. And if that tight end, if they think Loveland is the best available, you go ahead and get him. Now, I got to see what's there. So we can frown upon the idea of them picking a tight end at 18.
Yeah.
But we also got to look at.
And I will.
And you will. And we got to look at who's available, though.
Sure.
We don't know how this thing is going to unfold. So there is a scenario where they pick a tight end at 18, and I understand the pick. But there's also a scenario where they pick a tight end at 18, and I'm looking at the names like, well, maybe I would have went that direction.
Okay, follow-up question. Just the importance of that position and getting that going with Clint Kubiak's offense. I mean, we've kind of added that layer to all of our conversations about the draft, right? All of our conversations about offensive linemen, for instance. Let's throw tight end into the mix. I just read for listeners, hey, the last 3 most productive seasons by a tight end in the last decade were all Jimmy Graham.
Mm-hmm.
So say what you will about Jimmy Graham, and someone said, well, he wasn't worth Max Unger. That's not the argument I'm making. The argument I'm making is the Seahawks haven't been able to tap into a tight end as a receiving threat in a minute. So that being said, what kind of weapon would that mean for Clint? Like, does his offense really benefit from that? Could you exploit a tight end, or is he maybe more sticking with, like, just get me someone who can block?
Well, let me first say 500 yards from a tight end ain't bad.
No, not at all. Shout out, no fan.
No fan, 500. I mean,
yeah,
I'd take that every single year.
Yeah.
What you're asking is we want that big-time tight end. We want what the Niners have had. We want what Baltimore has had, what Kansas City has had, because we're making the correlation that if you have a good tight end in a run game, your offense is probably going to be moving.
I want a tight end where people playing fantasy football go, is this too early to take this guy? I don't know. I really like him. That's the tight end I want in Seattle.
Yeah. And I feel like, to answer your question, I feel like a tight end helps out any offense. All right, this is what type of tight end. So a Loveland type of tight end is the future tight end. He's like the mobile quarterback, not like Lamar mobile, but we're talking like Joe Burrow mobile.
Okay.
Like good enough. You that's like the standard now. You have to at least be Joe Burrow mobile in this league, or you're not going to have a lot of success unless you're Sam Darnold under play action and all that good stuff. Things that can help you. But no, a tight end like Loveland definitely helps because he's good in the run game. And if you look at Kubiak's offense, he uses his tight ends a lot in the run game. So now if he's in that wing position, peeling back on that tight end, now he's releasing. I mean, it just adds some variety to your offense, gives you another option out there. There is a world where I understand the pick, and there's a world where I look at it kind of sideways.
Good stuff from Daniel Jeremiah. Again, his latest mock draft available at NFL.com. I think it's his 3.0 draft. The Hawks at number 18 taking Michigan tight end Colston Loveland. A couple other interesting picks. He does not have a quarterback going number 2 overall to Cleveland. He has Travis Hunter to the Pats at 4. He has the Raiders taking Ashton Genty, a pick that a lot of people have kind of mocked now that they've traded for Geno, and one that I really like. I think that makes for a really interesting situation in Vegas. And then he's got Jackson Dart as the first, I should say third quarterback off the board, but kind of that first, like, after Shadur quarterback where everyone's going, when are they going to go? He's got him going to the Steelers at 21. Matthew Golden as the first non-Travis Hunter wide receiver. Should the Seahawks trade up in April? That's next.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
What do you love about the Uchenna Nwosu signing?
I just love that he gave the team a team-friendly deal. And let's not forget, when he's healthy, my man had 10 sacks, right? He played over 900 snaps for the Seahawks that year. He was healthy, only 12 games after that. But when he is healthy, he's volleying on the edge. You can run some stunts with him and DeMarcus or whoever else is in there. This is a great signing. You need his leadership, his intensity. It's going to be nice.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Springtime has me thinking about taking a nice trip somewhere to unwind, relax, but also have a little bit of entertainment at night. Now, I'm not talking about getting on the plane. Why would you go through all that trouble when you have plenty to explore here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest? Michael Bumpus here, and the place I'm thinking of is an easy drive away. Has a beautiful resort with deluxe rooms, in-room tablets, and free Wi-Fi. A challenging golf course with water on every hole. Delicious restaurants with the best steakhouse north of Seattle and the brand new authentic Mexican restaurant, The Cantina. Plus, events like live music and free entries to win a share of $300,000 every Saturday in March. The place I'm going to is Silver Reef Casino Resort. I can't wait to get up there, and neither should you. SilverReefCasino.com. Check out all they have to offer and book your stay today. It's a perfect getaway where you can have a little bit of fun, come back feeling refreshed, and have a brand new spot to call yours. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off of I-5, exit 260.
Guys, I'll never forget the first time I saw somebody get results at our clinic. He was an 81-year-old man who hadn't been intimate with his wife in over 8 years. Viagra had stopped working for him, and he was desperate for help. After several treatments, he walked into my office and told me he couldn't believe the results. Needless to say, this was a very happy man. This man made me a believer in what we do. He had taken pills for years, but he had never fixed the problem. When he came to us, we fixed the problem. Our treatment does what no pill can do. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today, like the thousands of men who already have.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the New Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced New Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural, youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the New Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best-kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your New Skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the New Skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Baseball is back. Opening day is just 2 days away. Seattle Sports will be live from Soto all day, including Wyman and Bob at Victory Hall from 2 to 6.
Looking for a smart way to improve your home comfort without breaking the bank? 2 words, heat pump. John Curley here. Upgrade to Home Comfort Alliance heat pump and get efficient heating in the winter and cooling in the summer in 1 unit. Heat pumps use less energy and are environmentally friendly. Plus, enjoy 18 months, same as cash financing, and up to 15% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through March. Home Comfort Alliance for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check buckys.com for the location near you.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions. 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Should the Seahawks trade up in April's draft? I know they've got a lot of capital, and John Schneider does like a lot of bites at the apple. We also know that this is a draft bump in which there's a lot of talent on day 2. It's kind of concentrated to rounds 2 and 3. You can find some really, really good depth and good contributors in that group. But Bill Barnwell has an article for ESPN in which he looks at trade up and trade down candidates. And surprisingly, he has the Seahawks as a trade-up candidate, in part because they have the most capital of any winning team. This is what he says. By Chase Stewart's draft chart, they have the 8th most capital of any team, which gives them all kind of flexibility. And they're the only one of the top 13 teams by draft capital to have had a winning record last season. I'm not saying 10 wins, to have had a winning record at all. So they are the best team with as much capital as they have. And because of that, one move might do more for you than it might do for a 2-win team with a lot of capital. So he says, look, I don't think that they're going to trade up. My instinct says, in fact, that John Schneider probably trades back. But if there's an offensive lineman that they really, really want, and it doesn't even have to be in round 1, but that you really want, maybe you do trade up and get that guy just to secure the pick.
That's the only way I would trade up. I'm looking at names that are associated to the offensive line. I shouldn't say associated. They are offensive linemen. Will Campbell out of LSU is a name that keeps popping up. You have Armand Membu, tackle/guard out of Missouri is a name that keeps popping up. If they think or they want one of those two guys, then okay, move up. But right now, I'm thinking, just chill at 18. If anything, collect more picks in the back end of this whole thing because 18 is a good spot. I think that the NFL draft will tell you what you're going to do. But if there is an offensive lineman that they just cannot live without, that they need, then I'm okay with it. But I'm sitting pretty at 18. I'm chilling. I'm going to let all these picks go down, let the two quarterbacks fly off the board. These defensive linemen, you go ahead and get him. A couple tight ends, a kid from Penn State is probably going to be drafted there early, and then Loveland will probably be the second tight end. I like the 18 spot. It's almost like when you're doing a fantasy draft and it's a snake. I don't want the first pick. I don't like the first pick. If we got like a 12-team league, put me like at...
Because you don't want that gap of that many picks.
Put me like at 8, and then it's just the draft tells you what you're going to do, So I'm good at 18. If I'm them, I'm staying right there unless you want the names that I just mentioned, Armand Membu from Missouri, and then you have Will Campbell out of LSU. If you see a lineman that you just can't live without and you think that he will transform your offense, you got Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. He's a tackle. Are going to move Abe to the inside. There's just a combination of things that need to happen for you to make those moves because those guys are primarily tackles that can play the guard position. I'm good at 18, man. I'm not going anywhere.
Before I move on to my next question, let me just say regarding snake drafts in fantasy football, as someone who in a 12-man league has had the last pick twice, so you get that last pick of the first round and then the first pick of the second. It is not actually a good choice. It is not a good spot. I've heard that argument multiple times, and it's like, no matter what, you do not have the top 10, 11 players in your league. You don't get a shot at those guys.
Yeah.
And, you have the best player of the next round. Your best player is going to be maybe a solid number 2 receiver and like a good running back, but not the best. I would like to push back at that narrative that a snake draft is good for the last pick. It's not. Those are lies.
Nah, if you're doing a snake, you got to be like 4th to last.
I'm just saying
that's a spot.
My league is called League of Corruption. There's a lot of corruption, a lot of collusion that happens in that league. I question why I've had the last pick so many times. Moving on to my next question for you. What about making a trade up that the Seahawks have been successful with? They traded up to take Frank Clark. They've traded up to take Tyler Lockett. I think they traded up for Frank Clark. So more of like you get to day 2 and you give up some of those day 3 picks. So now you're sacrificing like maybe some special teams help, some developmental pieces. You're going to walk away with fewer players, but maybe you're trading up on day 2 to add another second rounder.
That's more my speed. Okay. And I think that's a speed that is more John Schneider as well, because those are the foundational pieces. And it's weird I say those guys are foundational pieces, but you need like those ballers in the first, 10 to 12 picks. I get that. But the foundational pieces are the guys who are going to help in multiple ways, who will help when it comes to maybe a DB out there on defense, and he's going to run down and be a gunner, and then he's going to be on the kickoff team. Like the foundational pieces, guys who are going to help in multiple places. I think that is where the Hawks, I feel like, are the best at evaluating those type of players. Yeah. And those are the guys, man, who surprise you, who will hang around for 6-7 years just running around making plays on special teams and filling in when it comes to a starting position. Because I look at this Seahawks team, and I don't think that they're, other than offensive linemen, I don't think they're in desperate need of, we need a starter at this spot right now. It's offensive line. Everywhere else, you have your starter. Would I like another tight end? For sure. But I think Noah can do it. I think AJ can do it.
That's a good point.
At running back, no, I think you have your guys. At wideouts, no, you have your guys. Only spot is offensive line. So when you start getting to these later picks, those are the guys who are filling in the gaps, who will have maybe 2 to 3 years to develop, because Reek is going to start.
Yeah.
Spoon is going to start.
Yep.
So I like those picks. That's more my speed. I think that's more Seattle speed, too.
Kind of closing out this conversation with a look at where Seattle stands and how close they are. It's ironic that after trading Geno and DK, the conversation, and fairly, very fairly, was one about, are they rebuilding? Because that's a natural question to ask. You trade away your starting quarterback, you trade away one of your best weapons after releasing another one of your best weapons. Yeah, everyone's going to wonder whether or not you're rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought that stat from Bill Barnwell was so interesting because of that reason. Then you are the best team to have as much draft capital as you have. That's Bill's point. The Seahawks are the best team to have as much draft capital as they have. In theory, if you use that draft capital the right way, is it not fair to expect that they can start to close that gap quickly?
Yeah, you can expect that, because you need talent.
Yeah.
And you have an opportunity to get more talent than anyone else, and you have the best record out of those guys. You're not going to get that top-tier talent, but you're going to get guys who can contribute. No, it's fair. And it's fair to think that because of what they have in the draft and because of what they've done with this coaching staff and the ideas that they're throwing out there with running the football, and the idea of the Kubiak offense, the idea of this defense taking another step forward, even though they ended the season being one of the best defenses in the game. So, yeah, no, it's fair to assume that. But like always, got to show up, got to practice, got to execute. Bunch of things need to happen, but it starts with the draft.
The text line has settled on the 8th pick of a snake draft.
Out of 12 teams?
Out of 12 teams.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I like the 8th spot.
What about like 4? Because here's the thing with pick number 1. Yes, you get your pick of the player, but if that number 1 gets hurt, if you take Christian McCaffrey a couple years ago, would probably be your number 1 pick. And it's last year even, and now you're out of luck. Now, if you took Saquon like 2nd or 3rd, luckiest player ever, or luckiest fantasy football player ever, I think it's got to be a little higher than 8. I do. I understand that you're waiting so much, but the contribution you can have from that top player, he'll get hurt at some point, but that's hard to replace. That's hard to replace.
Yeah, I'm good with 8 though. I'll take it all day.
The countdown is on to Mariners opening day. Be there on March 27th for all the festivities, including a ceremonial first pitch from Ichiro and special platinum and gold glove presentations for Cal and Demo. Don't miss out. Grab your opening day tickets today at Mariners.com. Speaking of the Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joins us next.
Baseball is back. Julio Rodriguez and the 2025 Mariners are ready to play ball.
God, Julio, home run!
Opening day is just 2 days away.
It's a mentality. It's time to battle. It's time to fight.
Seattle Sports will be live from Sodo all day, including Wyman and Bob at Victory Hall from 2 to 6 p.m. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners, and your exclusive home for opening day.
Making fresh produce and food affordable and accessible to all is a mission Safeway is deeply committed to. G. Scott here. Your local Safeway has all the great benefits that SNAP-eligible families love, plus exclusive savings. Right now, save 50% on Fresh Pass memberships, plus get a monthly $5 credit, free unlimited delivery, $10 of free produce, and double rewards. Check out your Safeway For You app for all details and savings, or visit Safeway.com/SNAP for details.
Bracket busted? Don't worry, Madness Maniacs, you still have a shot at winning. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 16-team bracket. It's not too late to join in on the fun. It's the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 16-team competition will win a $500 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino.
Through March 31st, save double your sales tax from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy easy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest, same as cash, 12-month financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com to save double today.
Well, this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Dan. Dan, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
I had the same insurance company for 30 years and just accepted all the premium increases as inflation or feeling tethered to them because I have earthquake coverage and was uncertain about being able to get that anywhere else. But when I talked to Ken at First Mark, wow, he came back with bigger umbrella policy, better earthquake coverage, which I didn't think was possible. And when he came down with the premium number, it was a no-brainer. We were saving over $2,500 a year. Don't wait, because it's annoying to think of what I could have done with that money over the last 10 years had I done something sooner.
Well, Dan did it. My family did it. You got to do it, and it's totally free. Take the First Mark Challenge today. See how much money they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be the next First Mark Challenge victory that I get to talk to as well. Simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
When buying a battery, most people don't know one brand from another. And brands don't start things, watts do. And who remembers that volts times amps equals watts anyway? At Pacific Power Batteries, you're buying a battery from someone who you can trust. Lately, we've been working hard on our product knowledge so that you don't have to remember all that you may have forgotten about Ohm's Law. Studying vendors' strong points helps us find a battery that's right for you. And at Pacific Power Batteries, that's not artificial intelligence. That's useful information.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Febreze.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust Febreze car vent clips, featuring 3 distinct intensity settings, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing. Which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up, Oscar!
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's Business Solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
USC superstar Juju Watkins tore her ACL last night in the Trojans' second-round win over number 9 Mississippi State. She will obviously miss the rest of the women's NCAA tourney. Good news for the Mariners. Matt Brash made his first relief appearance since September 2023. Let's ask Shannon Drayer about it. She joins us in 30 seconds.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Mariners insider Shannon Drayer joining us now on the Emerald Pink Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Shannon, we are 2 days away from opening day. I can't believe it's already here. I know that I become that person that goes, I can't believe it's April as soon as the calendar turns, but I really can't believe it's opening day. It feels like we were just having you on talking about the start of spring training. Now that we've wrapped up Cactus League play, is there maybe a player that stands out most to you as having put quite a bit of work in or having had a good spring?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Hi, guys.
Hi.
What's up?
Oh, man. That's a tough one. You answer and you don't want to leave anybody out. And I think probably the biggest eye-opener was the player that perhaps was under one of the bigger microscopes. And what was eye-opening about him was not what I was looking for under the microscope, but something else. And I, of course, am talking about Jorge Polanco. He has looked fantastic at the plate from the moment he picked up the bat. Still not sure about third base at this point, but when you have a player that is coming off of a surgery that that was playing, very sore, dealing with a lot last year, it kind of opens your eyes a little bit, especially when why they went after him in the first place the year before. Does he have the opportunity to be that player that they were hoping that he could be last year if he is healthy this year? You're going to take anything you can get from him at the plate, and it was good in terms of what he was doing result-wise and also how he got there. So I think that, that for me was big. I also look in the pitching staff. You hear that you're losing George Kirby, and oh no, and first of all, thank goodness they didn't trade anyone. But secondly, are you going to be able to survive for a month without George Kirby? Emerson Hancock has looked good, and part of the reason why he has looked good is because he has added a pitch. Now, we've seen him look good in camp and then things not translate into the season when needed at times. We've also seen him go out and have some brilliant outings with the team when needed. So, you hope that a year more experience, a year older, an added pitch, more comfortable. It's good to see him very comfortable with this group right now. So I'm really intrigued to see what he is able to do when he goes out there. So that's just two names. I think, Ryan Bliss had a very nice spring and took steps forward, and you could see that, for the most part, things were improved with the defense. You could see that I think the messaging is getting through to him offensively, and a player that, like Hancock, I think really feels that it belongs right now. So up and down the lineup, I think there are a few right there, but those are three that come to mind immediately.
Shannon, what were your initial thoughts when you heard that Mitch was going to be released, and how does this change this team?
I'll start with the last. I don't know that it really does a lot. I don't think a lot of people had him on the roster. I think he would have had to have a tremendous spring for that to happen, and still there might be some question marks, but it was never an easy fit on this year's roster. As far as what I thought, it was tough. It was tough as it is with any long-term good kind of foundational type player, Mariner player. He had 6-7 years with the organization. He had huge moments with the organization. He almost willed them to the playoffs, the postseason, a season earlier. He was everything down the stretch in 2021. And, what really came to as it was sinking in is, thinking a little bit about his legacy as a Mariner, which is a little bit strange because he was there at two very different times. But, what I really take away is he is a guy that did absolutely everything he could to be his best. Don't know that it was always the right thing. I don't know that it wasn't the right thing, but I do know that he was always 100% committed in and out of season to his craft and to his team. And the things that jump out at me were, when he really kind of hit his stride and the way that he worked and the way that his teammates would look at him and said, back in the early 2020s, they called him our champion. That's who he was. That's how he carried himself. That's how he worked. And I thought that was such a unique way to put it, but that's who he was. And, this is a person that you wanted to see in the postseason. This is a person that you wanted to see leading the team, offensively to a World Series. He had that about him. And I also think about that when they had the teardown after the 2018 season, Mitch was kept because that's who they envisioned as kind of the ideal Mariner. That's who they wanted as the example if they were going to bring young players up. That's exactly what they wanted. So, to me, a very important person in this team's history for the time that he was with the team. He was always a huge part of what they did. Even last year, he kind of carried the offense the first month of the season, and nobody really expected him to play the number of games that he played last year, and we'll never know if that maybe kind of contributed to things falling off the way that they did. But he had injuries are a part of his legacy too. That obviously played a huge part of him, many not his own and not his own fault. But and as I'm saying this, he now kind of reminds me a little bit of Franklin Gutierrez when he was with the club. And injuries played and illness played a huge part with him, but such a solid individual who did so much at the time and was so well regarded. I think there's kind of a special category for players like that, and he certainly falls into that.
We opened our show by talking about players that are kind of facing pressure with an intentional aversion to naming Julio Rodriguez. And Shannon, I think that this was probably an exercise you did a lot last year. So much pressure was on Julio and so many eyes were on Julio that I certainly noticed, that many reporters would kind of naturally turn to other players and go, well, look what this guy's not doing. Or like, well, here's where this guy needs to help out too. Is there a name on this roster that because of that, you're looking at to start the year and going, I'm really curious to see how he starts things because he quietly was a factor last season in terms of a lack of production.
I mean, you could look up and down the lineup and anybody not named Cal Raleigh pretty much falls into that. But I think that's kind of part of what we're talking about. And what was really interesting to me is that when we got down to spring training a year ago, you kept hearing everybody, we've got a chip on our shoulder. We've got an edge. We just missed the postseason last year. That's our superpower this year. They didn't say that's their superpower. I said that. But it was definitely part of it. That wasn't part of it this year, which I think is good because I think that when you do, part of what I just said was we just missed. I don't think they're thinking about that. I think that you have a lot of individuals who underperformed offensively last year, and they know it. And there can be reasons. Yes, it's a tougher place to play, but nobody wants to put up that kind of season. And when you do put up that kind of season, you have your own kind of personal edge. It wasn't about what we did as a team. It was, I think everybody kind of looks in the mirror and I need to do more. I need to get back to what I was. So for me, I think that was kind of an interesting part of not talking about we just missed last year, but I do think that you have a lineup that's got a lot of players that collectively know that they weren't it offensively last year and believe they can be it this year. So I think you can look all over the lineup for that.
Rowdy Tellez. This is a name that has popped up. I think we listened to an interview from him the other day, Shannon, and he's like avoiding admitting that he's going to be on the roster. You know what I'm saying? But we think it's all going to go that way. And what have you seen out of him, and what does he bring to the squad?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. That's kind of a fun one because he's a player that you've seen from across the field for so long, and then he's, got the fun name and the big guy. And my gosh, he and Daniel Vogelback were on the same team for a couple of years in Toronto. That was a lot of fun right there. So there's some intrigue when he actually gets into the clubhouse and walks in. And yes, he's very large. And yes, he's got, I don't want to say a big personality in the fact that like he's got a big booming voice or he's bouncing all over the clubhouse or he's like a Robles-like energy, but he definitely has a presence and he's a little bit more understated in his comments and how he takes over. But I mean, this is a veteran. He's comfortable with everybody in there. I think they're all comfortable with him as well. And you need a little bit of that. That's an important thing. So to see him walk into the clubhouse and very curious as to how he was going to fit, and then to all of a sudden see that he is getting the lion's share of work at first base. I mean, there was a point up until the last week of spring training where Luke Raley had only made 4 starts at first this spring. And so you knew that they were taking a really good look at him. And it was a good audition. It was a good 4-week audition. And now he's on the club, and I think he definitely fits in. He can, hit both lefty and righty pitching, but I think you probably see him a little bit more in a platoon situation, probably a DH. He definitely can play some first base. It's all part of, we talked about the puzzle and how they're going to make all the parts fit and all the versatility that they have and how that's going to work out. But, yeah, he is somebody that is going to be able to come in and perhaps provide some of that thump from here and there. But you're also looking for a lineup that can do some other things. It's going to be a different looking, hopefully, offense than you have seen in the past. And something that really struck me and that Dan Wilson was trying to get people to understand is he kept talking about the little things. And you don't need much. You know, you need that extra run. And how many little things add up to a run? How many more stolen bases? How many more kind of sacrificing yourself at the plate and not taking the big swing and getting the single, moving the runner, doing those things? It is so good to have the guy that you know that can step up and has that potential for doing what Rowdy Tellez can do. So interesting piece and really seemed like a fit quite early on.
As part of that same interview, which was with Foul Territory, Rowdy talked about kind of working with Edgar, and the guys were obviously very curious about what that was like because there are many, many baseball fans around the country that go, oh, like, tell me more about working with Edgar. What have you been hearing from players in terms of how he and Kevin have been maybe fine-tuning their approach?
What we've been hearing is they're absolutely on the same page, talk the same language, and, you know, I think an overriding theme of this entire camp, and I think kind of writing the piece and putting it all together and it's all coming together, is that it's all about simplification. And, you know, when you hear just hit the ball up the middle, you know, fight with 2 strikes, it all sounds overwhelmingly simple. But I think that's exactly, you know, what they're going for here. And how you get there is different, and that's where your hitting coaches come in. If you do get off a little bit in what you are doing and you do need a tweak here or there, I think with this group, and Edgar has a great way of, I think, messaging it, and a simple way of messaging it is that, you know, if you're going to, I think they lead with the hitting with approach, and then they kind of work backwards. Whereas in the past, I think the hitting was very mechanical, very technical, and then, you know, your results would determine, or where you are in a bat would determine what you were going to do. Here, I think what you were doing, it's more of a team bat than an individual approach, and I think that Edgar has had a way of being able to, both as a group and a team, kind of explain that and set that example, but is also somebody that now that he is in the position that he is in, because we didn't always see this, he's been around this team a lot the last few years, but because of the position that he is in, there are more conversations. And the deeper you get into a conversation with Edgar about something, the more I think the ears start to prick up and they see that there is something for them coming from him. Edgar has always had a unique ability to be able to put himself into the shoes of another hitter. It's one thing for Edgar to say, this is how I did it. Well, you don't have 13 Hall of Famers in that lineup, but he's able to tell these players, this is how you should do it. And that's a gift that he has had from his playing days.
Shannon, is there something different about this 2025 team that you feel like isn't getting enough attention, whether it be good, bad, and different? I don't know, just something that the general public just can't recognize or doesn't know because we haven't been around the team?
I think there are a lot of question marks, you know, going in, and it's just pretty wild because you look at it, and I believe there are only 4 players that are starting this year that did not play for the big league team, at least at some point last year. So I think the biggest thing with this team is I think you've got to kind of let it kind of figure out who it is and let it play out on the field. And, you know, I think we have a good feeling that we know what the pitching is all about. You know what the starting pitching is all about. I think there's a good feeling that you know what the bullpen can be and what it should be when it gets some pieces back. And with the offense, you know, that has been an area of, you know, great needs improvement. I think that, you know, the story of this team is going to be, does that take hold? Are they able to kind of do the things that Dan Wilson and Edgar Martinez are asking them to do? And is that enough? How does this all come together? So for me, I think there is as much as ever, a big question mark on this team, which is really odd because they're returning almost the same team. Right. But I do think you do need to give a little time and a little grace that you do have a first-year manager. You got 5 weeks last year, but, Dan Wilson, he has a vision. He knows what he wants to do with this group. He's a good communicator with this group. But I think we need to learn him a little bit. And, 5 weeks at the end of last year is not enough. And even with his entire Mariners career and always being around is not enough. And, 6 weeks of spring training still not enough. So I think that is going to be part of the interesting story of this team this year.
We will see the first chapter start unfolding for that story on Thursday, the 27th, already opening day right around the corner. Mariners insider Shannon Drayer. Thanks so much, Shannon.
Thanks, Shannon.
You got it, guys.
See ya. Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, we were just talking about tight ends, and there's a new Seahawks tight end to talk about. They've signed tight end Eric Saubert from the Niners. Tell us about him.
This is the type of tight end that's going to do the dirty work. He's been in the league 8 years as a 5th-round pick. Last year, only 11 receptions, 97 yards, and 1 touchdown. Week 11 against the Seahawks was the most snaps he got. 61 snaps, but only 1 target, 1 reception. He went 6 weeks without a target. If you're picking up these numbers, he's a guy who's just going to block and get grimy for you. And who knows if he makes this team or not when it's all said and done. But this is the type of tight end that I was looking for or waiting to see if Kubiak and these guys were going to go after, because you need a guy to line up on the wing, in the backfield, go get the linebacker, go get the defensive end, and every now and then he'll come up with a catch. He had 5 targets and 4 receptions week 18 against Arizona. That's as good as it gets for him. His whole career, he only has like 40-something receptions. He's been in the league since for 8 years. So he's just a grimy, gritty type of tight end. Again, we'll see if he makes the ball club or not, but you need this type of guy on your football club. When I saw the signing, I went and watched the film, and he's just tough, man. Not super flexible, not dynamic like that, old school. And he might have a role on this team. Obviously, he still has to make it.
Second down. Sports Illustrated is reporting a possible move by the Seahawks. Who should we be looking out for?
So apparently the Seahawks are talking to the Cleveland Browns for a guy named Wyatt Teller. They're going to send them possibly
Wyatt Teller?
Send him the Cleveland Browns a comp pick and bring in a veteran. We shall see. Every week, every few days, I get a new name that is associated with the Hawks, but apparently they feel like this is going to go down pretty soon.
He tried to kill Uchenna.
Was that him?
Yes.
Oh,
he didn't try to kill Uchenna. I'm obviously thinking about it.
You're right. That's why I was like, damn, how does she know Wyatt?
Yeah.
What you know about Wyatt?
What do you know about him?
Wyatt?
No, he was the other half of that Uchenna injury.
Yeah. So, here's another name, another veteran for you to look at. I believe he's 30 years of age. He's got some snaps in the league, and he's a guy who can come over and compete and hopefully teach these young guys how to be a pro, because you don't hang around this long for no reason.
Yeah.
Wyatt Teller, don't know much about him. We shall see.
Dang, he'll have to take Uchenna to lunch if he comes here. Be like, I'm sorry,
you know how those things go though.
Partially
like
tore your MCL.
Players,
it happens.
We understand. As long as it wasn't malicious, and I don't think it was malicious, but it wasn't clean either.
Did you ever play with a dirty player? It could be someone on another team, right? Think of the then Pac-10. What's it, the Pac-12 when you were still in school?
Malauga.
Someone where you were like, you're doing this on purpose.
And Cushing as well. Dirty. Dirty.
Third down. What's something you heard about Aaron Rodgers you found interesting?
So I have peoples over there in Pittsburgh, and they said Aaron Rodgers, when he pulled up to that 6-hour meeting, pulled up in a Chevy Malibu. He didn't pull up in a Cadillac, Escalade, nothing special like that. He pulled up in a Chevy Malibu.
All right, we will get back to 4 down territory. I want to get your reaction for the last couple minutes instead on some breaking Mariners news. Again, we'll get back to 4 down territory. Bump has some offensive linemen we got to be looking at, but we have breaking news from ESPN's Jeff Passan. Cal Raleigh and the Mariners are finalizing an extension. It is a 6-year, $105 million contract extension, sources tell ESPN. Passan says the deal starts this season, buys out 3 years of free agency. It is a huge deal to keep a franchise catcher in Seattle. Bump, your quick reaction. Again, the news breaking just now from Jeff Passan. Catcher Cal Raleigh and the Seattle Mariners are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension.
I love it. Take care of the dumper, man. He is the captain of this team. I think it's safe to say he is the captain of this team. He has a great relationship with this rotation. When you talk to anyone in the rotation, they always highlight just Cal's role in this. I don't think he gets enough love. He probably plays in too many games where he needs himself a break.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, go and help your boy out.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for them, man, because he is he's one of those guys that when you think about this era of the Mariners, he's one of the first names that's going to pop into your head, has one of the greatest moments already in Mariners history. I was there for that game. Yeah, I'm just happy for Cal. I'm happy for the Mariners. They did the right thing.
I know I feel horrible interrupting 4 Down territory. Bump puts a lot of work into it. We will get back to it later in the show. But I also know that you're a fan of Cal, and
Yeah,
I
for
know
sure.
that not only that, but that that you've been unafraid to be kind of critical of the Mariners for being like, keep your stars. When you have a star, keep him. Like, you can't draft, develop, and then trade and then not hang on to the pieces that you
Right.
draft and develop and acquire via trade. Cal, not being a draft and develop guy, but like, reward yourself when you find that star.
It gives you a sense of security, too. You know behind the plate, you are going to be just fine. You know when it comes to developing and keeping these relationships with these pitchers, you are going to be just fine. And I love just the way that Cal goes about his business. He doesn't say much, but when he does, everything stops and you listen. He's a good dude. So I'm happy for Cal, man. And the Mariners did the right thing. People feel like they pulled the trigger a bit too quickly with Julio Rodriguez. I think we got a couple years to kind of figure that out. But with Cal, it seems like the timing is absolutely right. And we were afraid at one moment that Cal did not want to be here.
Yes, which is exactly, again, why this is breaking news. I have seen so many people, and I know you've seen these comments too, over the last year or so, talk about the worry of Scott Boras not being like a huge Mariners person. Now, Cal cut ties with Scott. He's no longer representing him, but it was a name that people thought, well, God, it doesn't matter what Cal does. You're not going to be able to extend him. I was one of those people. I was absolutely one of those people that thought, you better see if Ford works out because I don't know, whether or not you're going to be able to hang on to Cal. And part of this bump is growing up in the area and being used to, at least when I was a kid, being used to, oh, well, the Mariners are seen as just kind of like the Yankees take all our guys. Like that was the narrative when I was little. And to see the Mariners keep one of their guys is massive.
Yeah, it's huge. And people are asking, what does that mean for Harry Ford? We know that he can play multiple positions. Obviously, he's been getting a lot of reps behind the plate, had himself a good spring as well. But I think that you have to focus on what you have right now. Harry Ford is not a finished product yet. Still needs to get some ABs in the minor league. So we'll see what happens there. And focus on Cal. Cal's here.
Yeah.
6 years, man, and well-deserved.
We'll see if we can call around, get some more details on this contract, on the Cal Raleigh news. Again, if you're just now joining us, breaking news, the Mariners have agreed, or are finalizing rather, a contract extension with Cal Raleigh, keeping their franchise catcher in Seattle. Raleigh and the Mariners finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension. That from ESPN's Jeff Passan. Coming up next, we'll touch back with the Cal story, see what other details come from that. Plus, an NFL star says he wants to retire by 30. Don't go anywhere.
Baseball is back. Julio Rodriguez and the 2025 Mariners are ready to play ball.
Gone! Julio! Home run!
Opening day is just 2 days away.
It's a mentality. It's time to battle. It's time to fight.
Seattle Sports will be live from Soto all day, including Wyman and Bob at Victory Hall from 2 to 6 p.m. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners, and your exclusive home for opening day.
Febreze.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet. And we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place.
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to goodrx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
For 70 years, we've been known as the Humane Society of the United States. But as the challenges animals face have grown, so have we. We are now called Humane World for Animals. And with you on our side, we are going to end animal cruelty around the globe. Humane World for Animals, the end of animal cruelty.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Take your game day experience to the next level with a Mariners Suite. Suites are perfect for birthdays, anniversaries, client meetings, and that company outing you've been trying to plan for months. Enjoy first-class catering, VIP parking, custom setups for 14 to 400 people, and more, all with the help of a dedicated Mariners rep. Suites start at $125 per person, and season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve now at mariners.com/suites.
Munoz strikes out the side, and the ball game is over.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Through March 31st, save double on your sales tax from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy easy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest, same as cash 12-month financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com to save double today.
Do you want to lose weight fast and keep it off? I'm Dr. Ryan Coogan with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and I have a plan that has helped over 4,000 people in the Seattle-Tacoma area lose up to a pound per day. No surgery, no exercise, no box package food, and no drugs or injections with potential side effects. We have a team of health coaches that can support you every step of the way. Schedule your free 15-minute, no-pressure phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com and also see our incredible before and after transformations.
Well, and I'm one of those 4,000 people. I'm incredibly proud of my transformation. It started with just a 15-minute phone call where I learned how easy the program was and decided that it was right for me. I encourage you to make that phone call for yourself. It's only 15 minutes, and it can have a lasting impact.
Let our proven system help you lose 20 to 30 pounds or more in just 60 days. You can start our program in person at our Kirkland office or virtually from anywhere you live. Schedule your free phone consultation online at eastsideweightlossclinic.com. That's eastsideweightlossclinic.com.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports. and 97.3 FM HD2.
Breaking Mariners news from ESPN's Jeff Passan. The Mariners and Cal Raleigh have agreed to terms on a contract extension. They are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension. The deal starts this season. It buys out 3 years of free agency. Jeff adds a huge deal to keep a franchise catcher in Seattle. A couple things at play here, Bump. Number one, the importance of Cal Raleigh to this roster. Number two, the idea of keeping a player for as much of his career, ideally his entire career, because that just doesn't really happen in sports anymore. We don't know that that'll happen with Cal, but this increases the likelihood. And number three, the idea of the Mariners being a team to do that, because that also is not something that happens. One little thing I'm going to throw in here. Tell me what you think about this. From the Athletics, Ken Rosenthal, Raleigh's contract includes a full no-trade clause.
Okay, got some power in this deal. I like that. No, this is a good move, man. You're talking about a catcher who led all catchers when it comes to home runs, led them in RBIs. We're not too stressed out about the average. We know what comes with that. But he is a pillar on this team, right? You group all the arms together as one, and then you have Cal, and you're hoping that Julio's pillar just continues to develop and grow strong and help this thing build. But you have to keep the guys who contribute on the field and off the field.
Yes.
Right? Cal's like a coach out there, especially in situations like spring training when they're trying new pitches and he's communicating. Like he's the bridge between giving hitters information about pitches and then talking to the pitchers about information. He's just a box of knowledge that Cal has. And the way that he does it, I think, is perfect for this young group and for this organization. You just locked up the best catcher in the game.
Yeah, we've got Trevor May joining us in less than 30 minutes. Perfect timing for Trevor to come on. We're going to obviously ask him a ton about Cal's impact here. It's so interesting. You go, jump a couple years back, and you would have thought it would be Julio and Jared Kelenic as the two pillars of this team. You mentioned being a pillar of this team. Like, oh, those are the linchpins. Those are the things that are going to keep this thing afloat. Yeah, one half of that worked out wonderfully with Julio. I say wonderfully knowing that he's still polarizing, but in my mind worked out wonderfully. I didn't anticipate that Cal would end up being the other central piece to this. Now, granted, catchers have that special place when, like, a good catcher is like a great captain. Like, a good catcher can be a great leader for a team. I didn't have, like, exceptionally high expectations for Cal, and he has surpassed every single one of mine. I am so glad the Mariners made what I feel is the right choice.
Well, there's a reason why a bunch of catchers go on to be managers.
Yeah.
Right, because they see the game differently. It's kind of like my buddy Elmer. He's a goalie, right? And I talked to him about soccer, and the way he describes the game is not the way that I see the game, because he's on the back end and he sees everything. He has that panoramic view, and that's Cal. He's involved in every single play in the game. He's essentially a quarterback out there, and when you have someone who's reliable, who's dependable, and plays almost every game. I mean, 2022, 119. 2023, 145 games. 2024, 153 games. Now, you locked him up for 6. We got to take care of that body now and make sure
that's actually a good point.
that he's going to be good to go. But, no, this is the best news. It's like we've been waiting for something to get us hyped again about the Mariners, and this might be it so far.
Just in time for opening day. And again, we're not done with interviews. Trevor May going to join us. We were going to bring him on to talk about opening day and help preview the Mariners season, and now we get a new contract extension to talk about with the Mariners and Cal Raleigh. This was Cal on with Brock and Salk. They talked to him out in Peoria, and credit those two for trying to get Cal to answer a question about a potential contract extension. This is what he had to say in February about the idea of spending a career with one team.
I've said it before. I would love nothing more to, play for one team my whole career. And, Seattle has been nothing but good to me. You guys and everyone else, they've welcomed me with open arms. And, the people are great. I love the city. I love this organization. And, I really would love that. Some of that's out of my hands, obviously.
But are you someone that feels you have to test free agency? You owe it to yourself to get and see what the open market is? Or is it a possibility to sign something before then?
No, I'm completely open to signing something before then.
I did not believe Cal. Full disclosure, I will tell you guys.
I did.
Really?
I felt it in his voice.
Yes, but you are better at reading people. Like, I am someone who, again, born and raised in Seattle, shout out SeaTac Washington, and I typically assume, and I'm a negative person in general, so I'll let people know not everyone born and raised here is like me, but I typically assume the best players are going to go somewhere else. people, for some reason, they don't always want to come to Seattle. Free agency can be really tough. And even though Cal came into his own here, maybe he goes back to the East Coast. Maybe he wants a team in the Southeast. Maybe he, he'll get just amazing offers from other teams that he can't turn down. Maybe the Mariners will be unwilling to give him a number that he'll love. I just naturally found myself going to that place. I am so relieved. Like, the first thing I thought of wasn't just, oh, cool, Cal's staying here in Seattle. It was, oh, cool, the Mariners are keeping Cal in Seattle.
Yeah, they made a move. And I believed him just off of just the tone of his voice when he said that. It felt genuine. One of my first reactions to this contract was, man, that sounds kind of cheap for Cal. So I went back and I'm looking at what guys are getting paid. When it comes to this is annual average, he's third amongst catchers, 17.5. You have Salvador Perez at $20 million, and you have JT Realmuto at 23. And when it comes to overall contract value, he's third. So they didn't make him the highest paid catcher in the game, but he's right up there, man. Yeah. And I think that's important because when you go platinum, like our guy Cal did, he needs platinum type of money. He needs to feel like he is appreciated here. And that's something that concerns us a little bit sometimes with the Mariners because we know that they don't like to spend money. Yeah. They did spend a lot of money on Julio. Feel what you want about that. But I'm happy that they gave him a number that put him up the top with the best because it's an argument that he is the best catcher in the game. And you want to hold this down. You got to keep the band together. Cal, those 5 arms, the young talent that you have, it's important that you keep this group together. Now build around it. I know, focus on Cal. Don't focus on the negative. Focus on Cal, right? Now I'm like, okay, but we got our catcher. Let's keep building around this dude, though.
That's just the analyst brain working is going, well, now how do you build? No, stop. One story at a time. While we're sticking on the topic of Cal, I have 2 questions for you. One, what is your personal expectation for Cal this year? What are numbers that feel good to you? I know you've got his career numbers in front of you. And 2, does getting this contract extension in any way put more of an onus on his shoulders to, like, he was already a leader, but you know what I mean? It's like, well, this is your team. I mean, it's you and Julio, but there's a different kind of responsibility that Cal has.
I think he's already in that role, and I think that's why they're comfortable paying him this because not only does he produce when it comes to behind the plate in the batter's box, is that we've already felt like he has one of the bigger voices on this team. Mm-hmm. What do we need from Cal? I mean, look, we're talking about bombs. He's got to hit bombs. Back-to-back years where he had 30 bombs, 30 and 23 and 30 and 24, 27 and 22. And just hit for power, man, because we were just talking and going back and forth with texters, and they mentioned there's not a lot of pop on this in this lineup. With Cal, there's pop. With Julio, there's pop. With Randy, there could be pop. Rowdy, can you tap into 35-plus home runs again? So there's potential for the pop, but he has to be the one to light the firecracker and get this thing going.
Nothing will ever be bigger, and Curtis, I'm going to pull you in for this one too. Nothing will ever be bigger than the double. Like, it is by far the play that I will always hear mentioned most as a Mariners fan, and I'm not going to suggest that this tops it in any way. However, has there been a more recently iconic play than Cal hitting that home run against the A's?
That's the one.
Rounding the bases, looking in awe of what just happened. Can we find that highlight one more time? It's just as we got a minute left here, we can find it if we can play it. Like, he's also been one of the most signature moments now of recent Mariners teams.
If Cal stays with this team for the duration of this contract, and maybe even longer, if he is privileged enough to have a statue in front of the T-Mobile, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be holding up the bat, and it's important, man. I think that it's important for the squad, but I think it's important for the city too. It's important for Mariners fans who have watched this team trade guys away, let them go, not re-sign, not be aggressive during the offseason, and just get let down year after year after year. It's important for the fans who have had this team's back for 30-plus years to feel this and see this and have them feel like this organization is invested in their players and taking care of the homegrowns.
One more time for Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh and the Mariners finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension. One of Cal's best and most memorable moments, this.
A lot of anxious folks out here at the bump to Cal. The pitch from Acevedo. A drive deep to right field. Down the line. The Mariners win this game 2-1. The dream lives. They're going to the playoffs. The drought is over. Cal Raleigh. Wow. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now.
right, we are not done with this conversation. Trevor May joining us at noon. We are going to take a short break, go over some really good cuts from Mike Robb on the direction the Seahawks are moving in, and then again, back to baseball, back to Cal, back to the Mariners, days away from opening day, coming up at the top of the hour.
Breaking news.
Breaking just now from Jeff Passan. Catcher Cal Raleigh and the Seattle Mariners are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension.
I love it. Take care of the dumper, man. He is the captain of this team. I think it's safe to say he is the captain of this team, and I'm excited for them, man, because he's one of those guys that when you think about this era of the Mariners, he's one of the first names that's going to pop into your head. I'm just happy for Cal. I'm happy for the Mariners. They did the right thing.
Read more at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports app.
Swedish Cyberknife has been serving the Pacific Northwest with innovative and compassionate care since 2006. The Cyberknife system, with advanced tracking technology and robotic design, keeps the radiation on target even with tumor or patient movement. Being able to precisely and accurately deliver radiation makes a difference in terms of controlling cancer and reducing the risk of side effects. And the treatment is completed in only 5 sessions, lasting less than an hour. But the technology is only half the story. The skilled and dedicated team of providers and caregivers match the technology by providing unparalleled, personalized treatment plans and compassionate care. They are committed to patient-focused care, partnering with the patient and their families. The results speak for themselves. Patient surveys consistently give Swedish Cyberknife the highest of rankings. When diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Looking for a smart way to improve your home comfort without breaking the bank? 2 words, heat pump. John Curley here. Upgrade to Home Comfort Alliance Heat Pump and get efficient heating in the winter and cooling in the summer in 1 unit. Heat pumps use less energy and are environmentally friendly. Plus, enjoy 18 months, same as cash financing, and up to 15% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through March. Home Comfort Alliance for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
What's up, everyone? It's me, the Mariners Gatorade Cooler, and I wouldn't trade my view from the dugout for anything. Watching Logan Gilbert mid-shutout, taking a breather right beside me, he is calm, collected, and fully locked in. Keep it coming, Walter.
Swing and a miss. Logan Gilbert, 6 straight strikeouts.
And Victor Robles running by me with the trident in hand. I'm getting chills just thinking about it. And that's not just because I'm filled with ice.
How about Victor Robles? It landed all the way to the second deck.
And when Cal walks it off, oh, you know what time it is.
A walk-off grand slam for Cal Raleigh.
It's celebration time, and they never see me coming. Mariners baseball, Trident Sun.
Mariners opening day at T-Mobile Park is this Thursday, March 27th. Don't miss the festivities, including a ceremonial first pitch from Ichiro. Plus, check out everything on deck for the first homestand, like Randy Arozarena Crossed Arm Hoodie Night this Friday, March 28th. The best seats are going fast, so get yours today at Mariners.com.
Down, set, Pizza Hut, Hut!
Make the play of the game with Pizza Hut. Buy any large Pizza Hut pizza and get another one free. Use code HUT at checkout. That's code HUT for a buy one, get one free exclusive offer to 710 Seattle Sports listeners. No one out pizzas the Hut.
Making fresh produce and food affordable and accessible to all is a mission Safeway is deeply committed to. G. Scott here. Your local Safeway has all the great benefits that SNAP-eligible families love, plus exclusive savings. Right now, save 50% on Fresh Pass memberships, plus get a monthly $5 credit, free unlimited delivery, $10 of free produce, and double rewards. Check out your Safeway For You app for all details and savings, or visit Safeway.com/SNAP for details.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing, because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
This is Bumpin' Stacy
weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
We are obviously not done with the Cal Raleigh news of that extension with the Mariners, nor are we done talking about the Mariners ahead of opening day. Trevor May is joining us in less than 15 minutes. You are less than 15 minutes away from our interview with May. Bars.
Mm.
It's going to be May.
Oh.
Okay, everyone calm down. We're doing too much too early. Mike Robb talked about the direction of the Seahawks. Interesting things to say, to hear from Mike. Let's start with the direction of the Seahawks offseason moves.
Yeah, I do. I really do. Hopefully, for us Seattle Seahawks fans, hopefully it doesn't take almost 300 transactions to completely flip the culture like it did in 2010. And I was one of those transactions. Man, like every day it was a new person next to you in the locker room. Me and Beast talk about that a lot. And he came there week 6. So anyway, I do see that, man. And I do think Coach McDonald needs to have the room and opportunity to kind of put his stamp on this team. And I thought he started doing that with some of the moves.
Again, Mike Robb with Brock and Salk joking about, there were a lot of moves when I started with this team, or rather when my tenure ended with this team. However, is he right that ultimately Mike McDonald and any new head coach does need to put a stamp on a team?
Yeah, it's his squad.
Yeah.
He was over in Baltimore and took a defense that was struggling and made them one of the best, if not the best defense in football. You got to allow him to do that, or at least attempt to do that. We're not going to ask him to bring over the Baltimore Ravens or Legion of Boom or any of that, but that defense made a transformation because of things that he did. How involved was he with the personnel? Who knows, as a defensive coordinator, but I'm sure he has some type of input. So naturally, once you get a team, you want it to be yours. I mean, I took over a high school team, and I'm changing logos, and like we had a certain M at Monroe High School. And I switched it back to the Michigan M. Our practice uniforms were orange. I made them black. It's just you want to put your stamp on it because it's your personality that you want your team to reflect. And how do you do that? With the little aesthetic things, but with also getting the right people in, getting your type of linebacker, getting your type of defensive lineman, because it fits your idea of what you want your defense to look like.
Can I just say, switching practice uniforms from orange to black is the move.
That was the move. Couldn't do that.
That's the move. Mike Robb talking about how Seattle threw the ball a little too much for his liking last year.
I think it's a big reason why they made the switch from Coach Grubb. I thought we tried to throw the ball a little too much. Sorry, Jackson Smith and Jake, but I know you got a little upset about that, man, because you had a great year. But I think Coach McDonald, just talking to him last year and being a part of the preseason team, he wanted to run the football. He wanted to, in spots, and Brock, you know what I mean, sometimes just be ignorant about it, running the football, because you want to send a message. And I think this Clint Kubiak system will be a little bit more efficient, and you can build a capable passing game off of it so that you can control the game any way the game may play out.
I don't think Mike Robb's alone there. I know that you've talked about it. Many other analysts have talked about it. And John Schneider, on the latest John Schneider show, if you guys kind of hear the line that he has, he goes, we threw the crud out of the ball, and he was lamenting that younger offensive linemen didn't get a ton of run blocking experience. Do you think that was a mistake for this team that they can course correct over this offseason?
Yeah, and I'm going to go off of what you just said about offensive linemen not being able to practice the run. I talk to Big Ray all the time, and he always talks to me about how that allows offensive linemen to get into their groove. You know, as a receiver, man, let me run a hitch. Let me run a slant. Let me run an out. Let me feel the game a little bit. As an offensive lineman, you want to be on the attack because pass pro, you are in a little back pedal, not a back pedal, a post kick. And you are on the defense, and they have the advantage. So if you are constantly under that stress, you don't really get to feel the game. And now you're doing concepts that take 10 to 15 yards to develop, so you got to block even longer. So I think it's important that you allow your offensive linemen to feel the game the same way receivers like to feel the game with screens and short stuff, the same way running backs like to feel the game with just putting the football in their hand. It's important, man. It allows you to get into a groove. You have to take care of your young minds and bodies out there. You got to understand, how do I get them going? I had an old Escort my mom used to drive. I had to wake up in the morning and turn that car on. It's in Cali, but the car started to warm up. It was old. It was busted.
They like 65 degrees.
Hey,
go warm up the car.
Had to go warm up the car, right? That's what it needed. What do offensive linemen need to get into their groove is to run the football and allow them to be physical, because pass pro, they're not allowed to be physical.
Now, while Mike Robb was not necessarily surprised and didn't disagree with the idea of Mike Macdonald putting a stamp on a new team, and also understands that roster moves and transactions are always part of the business of the NFL, he says he was surprised to see Geno leave.
I was surprised when I saw Geno walk out of that building. I don't know the business behind everything. I would assume Geno wanted more money or whatever, but I thought Geno was worth it. You know what I mean? Anytime a guy completes 70, it can complete 7 out of 10 passes anytime, anywhere on the field, whatever. I think that's highly valuable in the National Football League. But I understand the, business, whatever, and I understand the symbolism of, bringing in a new guy. That's a new regime. This is my guy, talking about Sam Darnold. And obviously Clint Kubiak with that offense. So I do see shades of it, man.
I think nestled within Mike Robb's answer is his own take, which is, I would have paid Geno what I think he's worth.
Yeah, he also mentions, I don't know the specifics around this whole thing. Outside looking in, I think a lot of us, maybe 55% of us would be like, all right, let's keep Geno. Let's figure out a way to do this. But we weren't sitting at the table. We weren't having those conversations. And we're not in Geno's mind. Does he not think he can grow here? Does he feel like Vegas was a better place for him to do that? And then as soon as one side feels like the other side doesn't want to be there, you got to let them go. It's like trying to be in a relationship with someone who doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. It's like, all right, I'm not going to force you to be here. And I think that's what it came down to, because the things that we've heard about the numbers, that they were comparable. So what's going to be the deciding factor when the numbers are the same? It's relationship. And something was off with that relationship. And I think you and I felt it when John Schneider talked about how Geno and DK both left.
Yeah, it was weird hearing his comments. Like, in hindsight, I mean, at the time, I didn't realize that Geno had requested a trade, but after hearing that and hearing John say, we want guys who want to be here, I was like, dang, he's still a little bothered by this. Like, it's interesting. All right, let's see if we have time for one more. This is Mike Robb saying this version of the Seahawks team might end up reminding him of the 2010 version.
I will say one thing to any players out there that may be listening to your show. This season is going to be scrappy as hell. You're going to have to scrap. I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Because I thought Tyler Lockett would be a lifer as a Seahawk. I thought Bobby Wagner would be a lifer. I mean, I just thought these guys would never leave, and it just new energy in the locker room. And I just to remind me back of 2010, every single week felt like we were just scrapping and punching, and we felt disrespected, all of us, because we had so many different people in the locker room. And I think John is trying to recreate that energy.
Is this going to be a scrappy Seahawks season?
Defensively, yeah. Offensively, I got to see it. And I think there's potential there. But what we do know Ernest is going to be nasty out there. Leo's going to do his thing. Spoon's going to bring energy. Uchenna is back. Boye Mafe's gotten better every single year. I'm really excited about the defense. I'm excited about the potential of the offense, but I still got to see it.
Breaking news of a Cal Raleigh extension earlier this hour. So we're going to have Trevor May joining us at noon. Adam Jude joining us at 1 p.m. Lots of Mariners talk coming your way next.
Breaking news.
Breaking just now from Jeff Passan. Catcher Cal Raleigh and the Seattle Mariners are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension.
I love it. Take care of the dumper, man. He is the captain of this team. I think it's safe to say he is the captain of this team, and I'm excited for them, man, because he's one of those guys that when you think about this era of the Mariners, he's one of the first names that's going to pop into your head. I'm just happy for Cal. I'm happy for the Mariners. They did the right thing.
Read more at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports app.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Bracket busted? Don't worry, Madness Maniacs, you still have a shot at winning. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 16-team bracket. It's not too late to join in on the fun. It's the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 16-team competition will win a $500 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop this week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Paid political advertisement. Did you know insurance companies don't always pay what they should when your car is totaled? Too many Washington drivers are forced to accept lowball payouts or pay out of pocket for repairs their insurance should cover. But SB 5721 can change that. This bill holds insurers accountable, ensuring they provide fair vehicle valuations and cover the full cost of repairs. It also creates a simple, fast dispute resolution process so you don't have to fight alone. Stand up for fair coverage. Visit faiراutoclaims.com to contact your lawmakers and tell them support Senate Bill 5721, sponsored by the Washington Independent Collision Repairers Association.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, not all tax resolution companies are the same. There are some that are definitely not local. There are others that don't quite know what they're doing even.
Well, I tell you, these ads that all of us hear, Fresh Start program, they make you feel like, hey, man, I can just easy peasy get my taxes written off. No. And I've had several clients actually come to me after going through that process, and they just get no response after a while. They're passed around from person to person. That doesn't happen at my firm.
You are familiar with the cases that come in. You're working on them.
I'm familiar with every case that comes into our office. and I know what's going on and have the ability to really advise our taxpayers very well on what to do.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. None Better Tax Resolution, from stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. None Better Tax Resolution.
Everyone wants to get the best deal they can when they buy a car. But what about when you want to sell your car? Of course, you want to get the most money possible. But how do you get the most you can without trying to sell it yourself? Well, that's where my friends at Wayscar Ford in Auburn step in. Not only will they buy your car today, but that's just the beginning. Once they resell your old car, they send you another check for 50% of the profit of the sale of your old car. They've already given back over $750,000 to their customers. Mark, GM of Wayscar Ford, joins me, and it's such a great offer. But to clear up any confusion, is this like a consignment, and how can you offer this?
It's not a consignment, Stacy. In a consignment, the dealer that's trying to sell your car hasn't paid you yet. We pay you right up front. No more insurance, no more maintenance. All that's gone. After that's done, we pay half the profit. It's that simple. There's no magic to this. All the money we're saving by not buying at auctions, the shipping fees and the travel, we're giving it back to you. That's how it works.
So get the most money possible at Wayscar Ford Isuzu in Auburn and let them do the work.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
From ESPN's Jeff Passan, the Mariners and catcher Cal Raleigh are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension. That deal would start this season and buy out the 3 years of free agency. Per Ken Rosenthal, Raleigh's deal includes a full no-trade clause. Trevor May joining us in 30 seconds to talk about the move.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Trevor May joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Trevor, how's it going?
Good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
We are happy to have you on. Couldn't be better timing because about 30 minutes ago, we got breaking news of the Mariners reaching an agreement on a 6-year contract extension with Cal Raleigh. Before we talk about like the deal itself or even preview the Mariners season, I'm just, curious about your thoughts in general on Cal. He clearly means so much to this organization. What's it been like watching, yes, with Mariners insight, like an eye on this team, but also a bit as a national perspective?
Yeah, Cal is, he's a, I would say, and it's not even really close at this point. He's a top 3 catcher. I think if he was going to be left to getting to spring training, to free agency rather, he would command one of those big time contracts. So I think it's in the best. Definitely in the Mariners' best interest to sign him to an extension and get him for what would most likely be cheaper than he would have been at that point. So I think it's a great deal. But I also just from a standpoint of what he means to this Mariners team, he's the catcher is often called the quarterback because he has to kind of control the defense and the pitching staff and also swing the bat pretty well. And he seems to do all those things at a level that, if you get 2 of those 3, you're sitting pretty with your full-time catcher. But if you get all 3, you got a stud. So I think it was a really good move. I think that that's one of those positions that you don't want to have a lot of turnover year to year in catching. And if you can get your guy and have him be part of your crew moving forward into the deeply in the future, I think that's one of those boxes you would love to check as an organization.
I'm from LA, so I spend a lot of time watching the Dodgers and then obviously watching the Seahawks, the Mariners a lot as well. And the catcher position is fascinating to me. Is there like a common attribute when it comes to personality that good catchers have?
Well, one big thing that I've noticed with the best catchers I ever had and the guys that I enjoyed, talking about the game with were just the most curious guys. The guys that wanted to know, they wanted to have a working knowledge of every pitcher that comes in, and they want to kind of separate themselves with that. It's almost like a focus on the intangible stuff, because it's such a unique, oftentimes underappreciated position that the catchers that understand that and know that the most times you guys are on the same page and the more comfortable their pitching staff feels with them, and then the rest of the team, the better. So, there are some good ones out there. By all accounts, I never had the pleasure of playing with Cal, but by all accounts, this is definitely something that stands out about him. He's always asking guys what they want to do, and he's open to having conversations no matter what. If he's sitting there eating lunch or whatever, if a pitcher comes down and sits next to him, he's ready to talk. So from a pitcher standpoint, from my standpoint, that is huge, and that's the if that's something you don't have to worry about as a pitcher, that your catcher's going to be on the same page with you, it makes it a lot easier to pitch, which I think has a lot to do with how good this Mariners pitching staff has been in recent years.
All right, taking a step back now, looking at the Mariners and potentially, Trevor, even the AL West as a whole. What's going to have to be Seattle's kind of path to success or recipe here to have a really competitive, time in the division? Because I feel like the sexy pick is the Rangers if they can stay healthy, which, yeah, makes sense. Like, I get it. I understand the logic behind it. But what's Seattle's path here?
Well, I think there's no illusions. I think that everyone in that clubhouse knows what their strengths are and how they are going to win games. They're not just going to go, they can't count on their offense to carry them for, an entire season. It's probably not going to happen. The nature of the park, the nature of kind of the group, it's not the biggest strength of the team. So they're going to have to rely really heavily on their pitching, and that means grinding out games. Probably a lot of close games. When you win, you're probably not going to be blowing teams out very much. So you kind of take it as a group. You look at it around and you say, let's just win series. It's about winning 2 of the 3 games or 3 of the 4 games. And those add up. And it's about beating your division as well, going out and scraping those wins by. And then if you get more offense than you were expecting, then great. Like there's no harm in that. So I think that keeping everyone healthy, making sure the pitchers are that is smooth, because that is your biggest strength, and then just focus every single day on grinding out a win, because this division's wide open. It just is. Even with the Rangers and the top talent they had that same talent last year, and we saw how that worked. So you got to take advantage of when divisions are like this, and there's no clear winner, there's no juggernaut, especially with Houston kind of taking a couple steps back. You got to just go out and win the games you're supposed to win. So if I'm them, I'm going into this season not trying to go out and win 100 games from day one. It's about just winning your first series and then stacking those up.
Hey, Trevor, we opened our show focusing on any Mariner not named Julio that needs to have a bounce back year or to kind of step up. And there are obviously a bunch of places you can go, right? But Stacy and I settled on J.P. Crawford, and we missed the consistency that he had a couple of years ago with 19 bombs, always getting on base. Was like the perfect leadoff type of guy for you. And he struggled last year. What does he need to do to get back on track? And who would be your guy for bounce back candidate of the year?
JP was definitely, you took mine. That was at the top of my list. His consistency at the top of the lineup is really important, especially with guys like Julio and honestly, Rosarena are pretty streaky. When they are producing a lot and fast. And if you have a guy who's consistently getting on ahead of them, those solo home runs will turn into 2-run homers, and you'll get a little bit more out of them when those things are happening. So that is his job. I think he knows it too. So it's just about staying healthy too. He had some nagging stuff. He kept, he was dealing with some lower extremity things, and that just, if something bothering you all year, it's hard to go out there and be the best version of yourself. So I anticipate him being better. And then I'll add in the 2 new additions from last year that, frankly, got very little out of. Their ex-teammates of mine, Jorge Blanco and Mitch Garver. Jorge, for example, is a career going into last year's career 115 OPS plus, which is well above average hitter. He's a good hitter. I think that he had that offseason surgery to clean up some stuff that was bothering him last year as well. So I hear a lot of guys took care of some things that were some ailments, some little stuff that may have been hurting their performance last year, but not necessarily keeping them off the field. Hopefully, all those things kind of go through and work out, and we got more people on base for the guys I mentioned before, and Cal Raleigh to hit them in, because they were hitting guys in. There was just no one out there to hit in. So they were hitting themselves in a lot, and we just got to add a couple more guys to that equation.
Got kind of a weird question for you, Trevor, but it has to do with Cut on the Diamond, which is a great podcast. Highly encourage you guys to go rate, review, subscribe. And you do a deep dive with your guest every single time. And you had an interview with Daniel Barden. I know that you also promoted this on your own X.com account. And the reason I bring it up is that so many of the conversations, Trevor, that Bump and I have been having about this team has been about what might have been going on mentally for a lot of players last year. I mean, you mentioned Jorge Polanco, and I'm remembering him stepping up to the plate and being booed and genuinely thinking God, that's got to be hard. We haven't necessarily focused on him for an answer so far, but I think of Julio, and I don't think of him as maybe potentially dealing with anxiety in quite the same way as, you and Daniel talked about, but someone who has a ton of pressure. And I was hoping to just ask you, maybe not just about your interview with Daniel, though feel free to share some of that, but also about what it's like mentally being in the league. I think baseball must be so incredibly taxing.
Yeah, they don't call it a grind for no reason. It's physical, and I would say more mental than physical in terms of that kind of stuff. It's every day there's a job to do, and it's a job at a world-class level. You can't have one of those I'm just going to take it easy today type of days, and that can wear on you, and it takes a certain type of mental process. You developing those skills so that you can manage those things and get yourself to relax when you get that opportunity to, because there's not that many, the better. It's really, you hear guys talk about recovery all the time. I just want to go recover. I want to make sure that I'm ready to go tomorrow. The mental side is a huge part of that too. And I remember having, when I was having my issues in 2023 with the A's, some of the questions we were talking as a group of guys, and this was before I even took my step, but Daniel had just gone back on the IL for anxiety, and there was a lot of questions about it because I know a lot about it, surprisingly. And I was like, a lot of guys were, oh, well, isn't that just nervousness? And so we had this open conversation about the difference between when nerves turn into lock you up or get you to the point where you can't physically do the thing. It's affecting you physically. That is another level of stuff. And a lot of people had never felt it in that way, or they had and they didn't realize that's what it was because it was so few and far between. And so it's having open dialogues about this stuff. It's not about hey guys, go take an IL stint for 2 weeks or something. That's not what Daniel and I are really advocating for. It's more just acknowledge that these things exist and that all of you guys are having different. It's hard in different ways for everybody, and it's not just about whether you're slumping or not. There is something else probably attached to it going on in your head, a conversation you're having or an inner dialogue or something that is easier to work through when other people know about it, or if you can just say, hey, I have this thing and you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes that's all you need, and it helps you just manage it a little bit. So like you mentioned Julio, I don't see him as an anxious person. I can usually look at people's eyes, especially on the field, and know when it's like a, oh no, here we go again type of deer in headlight situation. He doesn't have that, but he does put pressure on himself, and he does have high expectations as the face of this franchise. And all he wants, when the team gets that reputation for not hitting, really, he wants to say, no, we can hit, and he wants to be the guy to lead that charge. And sometimes that's just not how it works. It's just, if you're trying to do something in this game, usually the game doesn't let you do it. It's one of those annoying, frustrating things. So, being able to say, hey, I know who I am. I know I'm a young guy, and I know this is the pressure I'm putting on myself. Just acknowledging it maybe, or having the space to do that goes a long way. So it kind of comes down to just hey, if you're miserable or you got stuff going on behind the scenes with your family or whatever, you should be able to say, hey, I got something going on. If you could avoid putting me in the game tonight, that would be really helpful. Just once, sometimes sometimes you just got to ask for help. And I think that's just in this sport and a lot of others, asking for help is frowned on. And guys just, I call it white knuckling. They just grip it as hard as they can and try to push through it and hope it just kind of gets better on its own. Unfortunately, these things take work and they take acknowledgement, and they're always going to come back unless you address them. So that's the type of stuff we talked about kind of in a nutshell. And it's just about having space for people to be honest and say, hey, this stinks. I could use a little bit of help and go from there and get a little support from the guys that know what you're going through.
No, I love that, man. I think in our generation, we're taught just to kind of bury it, you know what I mean, and just go through it and deal with your emotions yourself. So I think it's important that the organization is behind it, and like Dan, and that's what I see with Dan, honestly. I feel like he's more of a players kind of coach, to where Service is that old school type of guy that kind of just wants you to bury it and get through it. How important is it that, you know, these leaders of these young athletes are aware of this and give them space to be supported in that way?
Oh, it's so important. I think one of the biggest reasons I was able to take the time I needed and actually learn so much in a 4 week span that I'm so grateful that I had that opportunity to do was Mark Kotze and how he treated me and understood immediately. He's tapped into that side of himself. He does a lot of work himself on it. You know, he had his own things going on. It was a very tumultuous situation in Oakland that year, and every year he was there. So like he was dealing with stuff that no one else is going to have to deal with, and he was open about that with me. And it just that on its own was so helpful. And honestly, I would say I would give just about every guy, especially in the managers and front offices of the major leagues, like credit. I think that if approached and from an honest way from a player, that there are very few people that would not be really open to working with you and giving you the space you needed. I just think first step is the thing that's the hardest to do. I mean, both sides. I think that having that full, open, honest dialogue is hard to do sometimes when it's your boss or someone who can make decisions about your career. You don't want to look weak in front of them. You don't want to, even if you think that's not what they think, you don't want to take that chance, because once the cat's out of the bag, you can't put it back in. So that's, I think, where it comes down to. It's like the same thing like with the training room. People don't want to go in the training room sometimes because they don't want anyone to think they're hurt. It's a really hard tightrope to walk, and sometimes it takes the people in power to say, hey, by the way, if this is an issue, we're going to have no problems. And that goes a long way. So some people have been good at it. Other people aren't as good yet. But I think that overall the approach to these things is changing.
He is Trevor May. The conversation we're talking about is from the Cut on the Diamond podcast, which you can find wherever you get your podcasts, and also at I am Trevor May on X.com for everything else Trevor is connected to. Many projects here. Trevor, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Trevor.
Of course, thanks for having me on, guys.
Have a good one. Before we keep it moving to headline rewrites, obviously we began that conversation with Trevor talking about Cal Raleigh, what he means to the team. You asked a great question about, like, hey, what's the most important trait for a catcher? Like, what makes great catchers great? You know, what things do you recognize? I thought he'd be like toughness, but he had a much more nuanced answer. But I liked where the conversation went. And when you asked your final question about Dan Wilson, tell me if I'm wrong. I immediately thought, I wonder if Bump's thinking about this from a coach point of view of, like, how do you coach young athletes that are in a different generation? Yeah,
it's just different now, man. And it's not even different in a bad way. It's just different. We know more information about how athletes think and how they perform. I mean, we can use concussions. We had a concussion conversation a couple weeks ago, and they used to think, don't go to sleep. You know, wake up every 2 hours. And now it's like, man, go to sleep. Just relax. You'll be fine. So I think that the more information we get, the more responsibility the leaders of these young men have to make sure that they're supported in certain ways. But then there's a balance you have to have too, because I got to teach you how to be a man too. Sure. Sometimes you got to be tough and you got to fight through some things, but I also want you to feel comfortable coming to me and having these conversations Yeah, and that's how I live my life, man. We train 120 football players at my academy, and I have such great coaches who understand that. And I think that's what kind of sets us apart from other organizations, because it's always this tough, get at him. When it's like, yeah, there's a time and a place for that, but there's also a time and a place for him or her to feel what she's feeling and for us to try to work through this. So it's a different generation. They're stimulated differently. They respond differently. So it's important that, messages like this are getting out, and organizations are really focusing on it.
Well, and like some people decide like, hey, maybe this isn't the path for me, but ultimately you can think about it from a performance angle, that part of making someone the best possible athlete they can be on the field is figuring out like, where's the mental block?
Yeah.
And I think he's right. Like Julio doesn't seem like someone who maybe deals with it in quite the same way, but there is very clearly some kind of a mental thing sometimes,
There's
right?
some calmness. There's still a calmness with Julio, right? And then with other players, you see and then there's Luke, who has an intensity about him.
Right.
So they're going to respond differently to certain things.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's a cool conversation, man, because I think guys my age or people my age, we're in that transition to where, we were taught, rub some dirt on it, get up, don't cry, you'll be okay. And now we're having kids. I have a 15-year-old who I'm teaching how to be mentally tough, but also be aware of what's going on. It's an interesting place we are when it comes to mental development when it comes to athletes.
All right, let's go to very quick headline rewrites.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number one, about an hour ago, from ESPN's Jeff Pass, and Cal Raleigh and the Mariners have reportedly agreed to a 6-year, $105 million extension. What's the real headline?
The big dumper is now the big Brinks truck. A lot richer.
Right?
A lot richer.
$17.5 million a year, which makes him the third highest paid catcher in the game. Could have been the highest, but something tells me Cal wasn't stressing over an extra $3 million a year. He's like, man, I'm good.
Taking that Josh Allen approach.
Yeah, all right, we'll be good to go. But it's important that you keep this guy around. He's a leader on this ball club. He has a connection with every pitcher there. He's just a wealth of knowledge, man. He's behind the plate. Batters can talk to him. The pitchers can talk to him. He sees the whole field. Trevor May described him as the quarterback position. Me, I described the catcher as the quarterback, the goalie. Their perspective on the game is unique. So when you find a guy who can connect and who you can trust on and off the field, and then he had one of the biggest moments in Mariners history.
Yeah.
Got to ink him up. Congratulations, Dumper.
I'm glad that you mentioned his relationship with the pitchers as well, because when the news broke, we obviously talked about Cal, his contributions on offense, his contributions as a leader. But if you want to talk about the thing that you do most well,
English major.
I know. As
That's
an
something I would say.
The thing that you do most well as an organization, obviously, is your pitching, and you have the best 1 through 5 in baseball. I think you could make that argument, and many very, very smart baseball minds have. Part of cementing that isn't just extending Logan, extending Kirby. It's keeping Cal, who's been a huge part of their development.
There's a comfort level he gives those pitchers.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, USC superstar Juju Watkins tore her ACL last night in the Trojans' second-round win over Mississippi State. She will miss the rest of the women's NCAA tournament. What's the real headline?
Hopefully her loss doesn't take eyes with her.
Unfortunately, eyes will be taken. I mean, there are a few games that I'm like, I have to watch. I have to watch Juju. I have to watch Paige. And I have to watch Hidalgo, I believe her name is, from Notre Dame. There are a few stars in this tournament. And honestly, there are more stars in the women's game or the tournament right now than in the men's. Just the men's have just a long history of Kentucky and everyone else that's involved. And naturally, that brings eyes to those games. So this is a big blow to her personally, to University of California, Southern California, and to the women's game. But I encourage everyone, keep watching, because there are some ballers out there. This is the most fun. I was telling my buddy at Moonshine, this is the most fun I've had watching women's basketball. I used to think to myself, like in my 20s, like, man, I'll go out there and lock them up right now. Man, those girls are so much more skilled. Even 10, 15 years from now, the game is going crazy. So this one hurts. So eyes will go with her, but I encourage people who just love the game to stick with it.
I thought you made a really interesting take, too, about there being, yes, there are more eyes, quite literally. We'll talk about some record-breaking numbers for men's March Madness, but that there are more stars for women. And I think, obviously, if you are a diehard college basketball fan, you're like, what are you talking about? I can name you, a million key players in the men's bracket. bracket. However, I think you could be a casual sports fan and know at least 3 of the women.
Oh, yeah. This is the most stars we've seen in one tournament, so this one hurts.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 3, Matt Brash made his first relief appearance since September 23 in the Mariners Cactus League finale. He threw a scoreless 2/3 of an inning. What's the real headline?
It's too late, folks. It's happening. I can't stop it. I've got hope now.
Yeah, we got hope.
That's all I needed
Just
to see.
sign Cal, too. Let's get it.
Let's
Thursday.
go.
Come on.
This is our year. Okay, I'm not going to go.
Stop. Won't stop.
Oh, man.
I wonder how late into the season I can say that. I'm just going to not stop it. I'm just going to keep it moving.
At least till summer.
Give me an opening day win. I'll say it
summer.
at least Friday morning. I'm going to be like, this is our year.
We're playing Sacramento.
Look.
We're playing Sacramento.
Don't they, real question, not want to be called Sacramento?
Right, they're the A's.
I wrote them on my scorecard, which I already filled out. A's. C.
I'm calling them Sacramento.
Well, the
so
A's,
disrespectful.
The A's want to be in Vegas so badly that their jersey sponsor is the city of Las Vegas.
Yeah, they're there already.
Try not to be so desperate, A's.
They booked a trip 2 years in advance. They're just waiting on the date.
Speaking of jerseys, the Seahawks are adding a new patch to their uniforms for 2025. We'll tell you what they're celebrating next.
Baseball is back. Julio Rodriguez and the 2025 Mariners are ready to play ball.
Julio, home run!
Opening day is just 2 days away.
It's a mentality. It's time to battle. It's time to fight.
Seattle Sports will be live from Soto all day, including Wyman and Bob at Victory Hall from 2 to 6 p.m. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners, and your exclusive home for opening day.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
The American Band, the legendary Grand Funk Railroad, is rolling into Muckleshoot Event Center Wednesday, August 6th with special guest Jefferson Starship. Don't miss this night of classic rock that defined a generation. Get tickets now at muckleshootcasino.com. Grand Funk Railroad with special guest Jefferson Starship. Only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Did you know colon cancer can be detected early or prevented through regular screening?
I have detected Around Earth is the greatest lie ever.
Okay, Roger. My uncle just passed away and I inherited his cockatoo, Roger. He was a member of the Flat Earth Society, so Roger picked up on some of his rhetoric. Anyway, screening, such as a colonoscopy.
Screen these! Screen these!
Roger that, Roger. Moving on. Colonoscopies can detect early-stage colon or rectal cancer or even polyps, which are abnormal growths that can turn into cancer over time.
I'm a Flat Earth walker.
Come on, Roger. What did I do to my uncle to deserve you? You don't get to choose what you inherit, just like colon cancer. Unlike Roger here, I believe in science. And science says that if colon cancer runs in your family, you're more likely to develop it yourself. Talk to your doctor about when you should start screening. Find out more at coloncancercoalition.org. A message from the Colon Cancer Coalition.
Something amazing is happening. Technology is working harder, faster, and more reliably. It's delivering results that work. But who makes technology work? CDW. We're a full-service technology solutions provider, advising our clients and designing customized solutions so they can reach their goals and do amazing things. CDW. Make amazing happen. Find out more at cdw.com.
What if your business could see beyond what is and into what can be?
What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Baseball is back. Opening day is just 2 days away. Seattle Sports will be live from Soto all day, including Wyman and Bob at Victory Hall from 2 to 6.
I saw her texting coming up to a stop sign, and so I saw the accident coming, and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines, and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Paid political advertisement. Did you know insurance companies don't always pay what they should when your car is totaled? Too many Washington drivers are forced to accept lowball payouts or pay out of pocket for repairs their insurance should cover. But SB 5721 can change that. This bill holds insurers accountable, ensuring they provide fair vehicle valuations and cover the full cost of repairs. It also creates a simple, fast dispute resolution process so you don't have to fight alone. Stand up for fair coverage. Visit fairautoclaims.com to contact your lawmakers and tell them support Senate Bill 5721, sponsored by the Washington Independent Collision Repairers Association.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we are going to start with the Seattle Seahawks this time around. They are adding a 50th anniversary patch to their uniforms for the 2025 season, meaning if I said, hey, the Seahawks are adding a patch to celebrate the anniversary of something, congratulations on guessing. It would be the franchise itself. 50th anniversary patch.
50 of them things. Myself, Paul Moyer, Big Ray, Jordan Babineau, Brian Walters, Lova Tatubu, a bunch of voices you guys hear on the pre and post game are going to voicing some type of tribute to this. So it should be fun. Don't know when it's going to be released, but they're going to make this a fun year for you Hawks
Why aren't
fans.
Stacy and I recording?
That's interesting.
I told them that you guys were busy. Curtis,
I'm free.
Curtis has children. Stacy decorates her apartment.
Yeah, I think we're both free to offer our voices. Our voices. A 50th anniversary.
The Gridiron Warriors.
It's going to sound like that. It's going to be both of us talking over each other. It's going to be, oh my God, 50 years of Seahawks. And then Curtis is going to come in with,
Paul Moyer didn't wear a face mask when he played.
counting down the best 50 Seahawks to wear neck rolls. Coming in at number one. Dave Wyman. It's Dave Wyman.
Oh,
Did Dave Wyman wear a neck roll? He had to.
He had to.
He
There's
might
no way
still be
didn't.
wearing one.
Brian Bosworth definitely wore one.
Yeah. Who's the best player to wear a neck roll? He's got to be a Steeler. I don't know who it is, but he's a Steeler.
Yeah, he's a Steeler. What's that linebacker from the Steelers?
Like Jack Lambert?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Best player to ever wear a neck roll. Someone has to know. Someone tell me.
The Icebox. Little Giants.
The Seahawks added tight end Eric Saubert in free agency Monday. The 30-year-old spent the 2024 season with the 49ers. I don't want to spoil four-down territory. So whatever you're willing to say about this move, feel free now. And then we will obviously address this closely at 1:15.
It makes complete sense. the type of player he is, I will break that down for you. He still has to make the team. That's a tough thing about these type of signings is that, all right, 30 years old, been in the game 8 years, obviously has some value to him, still has to prove himself and make the team. But if he were to make the team, I can understand his role.
Cam Ward recently had his pro day at Miami and further showed why he'll be the first quarterback, probably the first pick off the board. Here's Cam.
Well, it was real important, especially the position I'm in. We had every team in the NFL here, so, I know, my name had something to do with it, but I know the guys that I played with, they had something to do with it too. So it was good for all of us, to do our skills out here in front of all 32 teams. So the receiving core, Tyler Barron out here, Kiko doing drills. So, I think it just benefited everybody.
Cam is the odds-on favorite to be the first overall pick by the Tennessee Titans. Here's what getting drafted first overall would mean to him.
I've been battling that since I was in a position, since I got the UIW. I always knew I'd be one of the top draft picks. The whole world didn't see it, but I seen it from the jump. All I needed was, a little bit of spotlight. I got that. So I think it'd mean more to my parents than what it'll ever mean to me. I just want to lace up the cleats, throw the football, be around the guys. And so it's going to be a special moment for sure for myself, just because the hard work I put in. But at the end of the day, it don't mean nothing. Draft pick, doesn't mean anything. The first round doesn't separate itself for the second round. So, at the end of the day, every draft pick who gets chosen, they got to go in, they got to go get it during camp.
Any doubt in your mind, Bump, that it's Cam at number one?
It better be Cam at number one.
Yeah.
And it's so cool listening to him speak because his first year as a starter at Wazoo, obviously I called some games and interviewed him after the game. And he's always had this confidence, but now it's like, I am the man. And it's been fun to watch him grow. I think that's one of the best things about what we do as hosts and analysts and what all these other coaches do out in the country is just watching young people develop, and to watch this man go from no stars to Incarnate Ward to WSU to the number one pick in the draft, which is hard to do. It's fun, man. So I'm so happy for that dude.
Submissions from the Mac and Jack's text line for best player to ever wear a neck
I see
roll.
one. Yeah.
Junior Seau.
Yep.
Wally from Snoqualmie says Junior Seau wore a neck roll. I was like, really? In my mind, he played so much more recently, but
yeah,
I'm washed.
Eric Dickerson,
Dick Buttkiss, Mike Alstott.
How long?
That's a list,
Yeah.
man. You know what? It honestly has just become, did the best NFL players wear neck rolls?
Hey,
that's what this has
that's
turned
back
into.
when the NFL was violent as heck.
Let me tell you what.
Needed to support that neck.
Albert Breer recently touched on why it felt like Seattle was always the favorite to sign Sam Darnold.
So it's been a while since Sam Darnold's been in a position where a team has said to him, yes, come in, be our starting quarterback. And if this works out, this could wind up being a 5-year thing, a 10-year thing. Like, let's see how it goes. That's what he has in Seattle. It's all he was really looking for, I think, in finding a new home. It was going to be tough for Minnesota ever to afford that to him. Pittsburgh didn't quite get there where they were willing to say, okay, we'll do multi-years with you. They were very interested in him. And so I think Seattle's a perfect spot for him. It's back in the West Coast. And I really like what the Seahawks have done this offseason.
Pittsburgh offered Darnold, but weren't all that interested in him, says Albert. And Seattle made him feel like he has a long-term shot. Does he?
He does. He has an opportunity. And the way the contract is set up is it keeps everyone invested, right? It makes Sam Darnold have to continue to grow and get better, which obviously every football player wants to do, but also gives the Seahawks a way out and then an opportunity to figure out if they want to invest in this guy and grow. And he's got some weapons. Cooper Kupp's not going to be here forever, but you got a receiver, you have JSN, you got a running back, got to get some linemen. It's the perfect situation for the hand that the Hawks were dealt. They came out of this thing pretty okay.
Well, and if I'm Sam Darnold, I'm going, yes, obviously the Steelers give you a chance to be competitive because, frankly, they're always competitive every year. But it's been a minute, much like the Seahawks, since they've, kind of won in the postseason. And if you're looking at Seattle, you go, well, when are they going to take some quarterback number 1, 2, or 3 overall? Where's that draft capital going to come from? You do have a chance to cement yourself.
Hawks
They're trying to run the ball.
Hawks got a new car smell. Pittsburgh got that old school. It's nice. It's clean. You keep it covered when it's cold out and raining, and you take it out. But the Hawks got that new car smell. I think that's what he's looking for.
Also from Albert Breer, Russell Wilson could be in wait-and-see mode for months. This is from Albert's latest column for Sports Illustrated. He said, I'm not sure where Russell Wilson's landing spot is. Jameis Winston's presence won't impact the Giants' pursuit of Aaron Rodgers, I'm told, but could change how they view Wilson as an option. And that might leave Cleveland as Russell Wilson's most likely landing spot. And that might only be if the Browns don't take a quarterback with the second pick or find a reasonable price for Kirk Cousins. If those two, meaning a quarterback at 2 and Kirk Cousins, are off the table, Wilson's best option might just be to wait and see if an injury somewhere in spring or summer brings an opportunity. Or excuse me, if those two, the Giants and Browns, sorry.
If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. That should be Russell Wilson's song. Sugar Free. Look it up if you ain't heard it. He needs to wake up to Sugar Free. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, because he's going to be waiting for a little bit. And it's weird that he is in that situation.
It is.
But it's just how the NFL is right now. If this were last year and he was in this situation, he'd probably be picked up by now.
Yeah.
But you got young guys who are balling, old guys who have a bit more or a bit better resume than you. So you just got to chill.
Is there a quarterback situation around the league that you think, I actually think Russell Wilson as a starter for them would be an upgrade? I'm like racking my mind.
I always look at New Orleans. Is Derek Carr the guy over there?
Last year I would have looked at Indy, but I actually think Daniel Jones is a great signing for them.
Yeah. You think he's better than Russell?
Daniel Jones?
Mm-hmm.
No, but I think that I don't think Russell is ever going to be what we saw at one point. I think that this version of Russell is a very good backup.
Yep.
It's much like this version of Kirk Cousins is a very good backup. Different profiles as quarterbacks, but like their ceiling has been impacted by virtue of being born in the 80s.
Say it again. You think Russell is what?
A good backup.
And that is why I'm going to win our bet.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Where's Aaron Rodgers playing?
Hey.
Did I miss an Aaron Rodgers update
He was just in
Rodgers signing
Pittsburgh for 6 hours. He pulled up in a Chevy Malibu.
Okay.
That is a secure man.
So funny.
He's going to be good to go.
I didn't hear about Aaron Rodgers
You'll hear about
signing
tomorrow.
somewhere.
You'll hear about tomorrow.
Details on Cal Raleigh's extension with the Mariners coming your way next.
Breaking news.
Breaking just now from Jeff Passan. Catcher Cal Raleigh and the Seattle Mariners are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension.
I love it. Take care of the dumper, man. He is the captain of this team. I think it's safe to say he is the captain of this team, and I'm excited for them, man, because he is he's one of those guys that when you think about this era of the Mariners, he's one of the first names that's going to pop into your head. I'm just happy for Cal. I'm happy for the Mariners. They did the right thing.
Read more at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports app.
Who has some of the best deals on new Fords and Isuzus in the Pacific Northwest? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who has a large selection of the highest quality used vehicles in the Pacific Northwest? That would also be Wayscar Ford in Auburn. What dealership promises no games, no gimmicks, and never any pressure to purchase? Yes, Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who's the only Ford dealer in all of Washington State to offer a 5-day or 500-mile, no questions asked, 100% money-back return policy? You're getting good at this. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who offers a free lifetime powertrain warranty on virtually all their new Fords? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who's the only dealer that will purchase your used car, pay you right up front, and then once they resell your old car, return 50% of the profit back to you? In fact, this dealer has given back over $750,000 to customers who have sold them their cars, and yes, it is only Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Finally, what dealership has been family-owned and operated in Auburn for 103 years? You guessed it. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Visit them at wayscarford.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet. But we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found in G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Getting a new battery should be easy. At Pacific Power Batteries, you won't go in with a battery problem and come out with a new transmission. Instead, we can test your battery to see if it's actually the problem. Maybe it's the alternator. We don't sell alternators, so we have no motivation to sell you one or even a new transmission. We have load testers and conductance testers, hydrometers and voltmeters whenever needed. I'm Steve Almond, and I invite you to our family-owned Pacific Power Batteries. You can trust us with any battery problem, and we'll top off the blinker fluid for free.
They say teachers don't impact for a year, but for a lifetime. Hi, this is Rick Rizk. Join WSECU, your local credit union, as we celebrate those who give so much with the Teacher of the Week program. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. Each week throughout the season, we'll honor one teacher with a $500 grant, courtesy of WSECU. Teachers are the real MVPs. Find out more and nominate a teacher at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
New details emerging on Cal Raleigh's contract extension. This is, Curtis, was this Jeff Passan, I think, with this initial tweet. So it's a $10 million signing bonus. In 2025, $1 million salary. Nice.
That bonus, that signing bonus, take care of that. He good.
Exactly. It's secretly 11. 2026, 11. 2027, 12. Then a bit of a jump, 28, 23, 29, 23, 2030, 23. And then 2031 is a vesting player option, $20 million vesting player option with a $2 million buyout. Again, I know that the numbers that most people really care about are, wow, it really doesn't break the bank. And importantly, it keeps Cal Raleigh here, a player who a lot of people, I think, worried would be on the move. Whether or not he was a Boris Klein anymore, which he's not.
No, we were scared. I was
scared.
until I heard him, was that with Brock and Salk?
Yeah, have that cut. Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, let's hear that.
Okay, so this was Cal Raleigh on with Brock and Salk talking about staying in Seattle. I got it.
I've said it before. I would love nothing more to
played for one team my whole career, and, Seattle has been nothing but good to me. You guys and everyone else, they've welcomed me with open arms, and, the people are great. I love the city. I love this organization, and, I really would love that, some of that's out of my hands, obviously.
But are you someone that feels you have to test free agency, you owe it to yourself to get and see what the open market is? Or is it a possibility to sign something before then?
No, I'm completely open to signing something before then.
Okay, so you were a bit worried until you heard that.
As soon as I hear, no. Like, why would you say that? That's what I heard and felt
From Cal,
when he
it's
said
so
that. It's
sincere.
like, no. Come on, man. This is
Yeah, Mike gave him an out, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, of course, you want to see what your value is to other teams. So he was like, no.
No, why are you talking like that? I want to be here. And you want guys who want to be here. John Schneider, told us the best a few weeks ago. You want guys who want to be here, especially when they are main contributors. And man, $23 million for what, 1, 2, 3 years, and $20 million with that vesting player option. Listen, this needed to be done. And this gives people hope. When Cal is introduced opening day, it's going to be the loudest roar. What's it going to be like, Curtis, you said, when Cal is introduced?
Just like that.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Yeah.
That's what he deserves, man.
Go Cal, woo!
Yep, that too.
That too.
Someone
a
said,
lot of that.
406. Can we find Cal a better nickname? Let me tell you what, it's too
done.
late.
What do you mean
It's a
better
wrap.
Too
one?
late.
It's incredible.
It's a wrap, son.
Who doesn't like the nickname? Maybe Cal.
I think
No.
Cal and his
embraced
family?
it.
I don't know.
He likes it. We heard him. He did an interview and he said,
and he said, like,
bother
it's
me.
grown up. I think that there are some nicknames that get out of hand that you can't put it back in the box.
It's a wrap.
You know what I mean? It's
And look
the Pandora's
at him.
box of nicknames.
Look at him. The dumper.
Look, I'm
Come
just saying he's
on.
got a lot of lower body
On a
strength.
Tuesday.
He's got a lot of lower body strength, okay?
I believe his catching gear this year, I don't think it's on the outside, but I think it's on the inside. There is a big dumper like logo.
Stop.
I'm pretty sure.
On the inside of his
Get the
kitchen.
merch. It should be a dump truck.
That's honestly,
Get the merch going
you should
now.
be all over that merch. And again, I think some nicknames, all of us can think of friends we have with nicknames where you're like, it's too late.
It's a wrap.
You can't change it. You don't get to pick a new one. It just happened. I didn't choose to be Crybaby Stacy.
Was that your nickname?
Yeah, but Miss Keto's 4th grade class ran with it. And, I would like to change that nickname. Did my sister start it? Yeah. Samantha started it. And
Classic
was I
Samantha.
Crybaby Stacy for the next several years? Yeah, but I'm not crying about it now. I'm an adult. I'm over it. And I think that Crybaby Stacy is a way worse nickname than the Big Dumper. I'm just saying.
Curtis, was yours always C. Raj, or is it something else?
No, that's kind of always what, in my adult life, yes, that's
Yeah.
what it's been. That's thanks to G. Scott. Yeah, can't really think of one.
Matthew,
Matt. Come on.
you got it.
It's
This is a
safe.
safe space.
This is a safe space,
safe.
buddy.
It's just us here.
In high school, I made the mistake of, during a 2-a-day football practice in the summer heat, bring a water bottle with a lot of ice in it, and they called me Matty Ice.
Matty
after that.
Ice.
Matty Ice.
Oh, wow. Is it a
Perfect.
safe space where I can share that my nickname is Maddie
That
Ice?
might be the best one
Hated
here.
it.
That might be the
Honestly,
best
that
one
is,
here.
I mean, Bump is a solid, but it's part of your name.
It's my name. Like every
Yeah.
bump is male goes by bump.
Right, but Maddie
played out.
Ice, like I can't believe
hate
you
it.
were. I thought you were about to say that like you threw up and they called you like Puke Boy, or
Puke Boy. That's what he's known as now.
I
like
thought it was
Puke
gonna
Boy.
be something juicier than that. Like,
Matt,
oh no, I'm really embarrassed.
I want to say when I first started working with you, I called you Matty Ice a couple times.
No, I know, and I
Probably.
hated it.
You just let me
'Cause
do
you're not
it.
Matty
I was gonna let it go because I was like, oh, this guy's not gonna be here very long. It's fine.
Oh my god! Wow.
And look at me. 3
Matty
years
Ice in his
of just great
veins.
friendship between me and Matthew.
Did I tell you, by the way, someone texted in to the Mac Jack's text line asking a question that was definitely a Matty Ice question / Puke Boy question. They were asking about Daredevil, but they asked Curtis, and I was like, there's no way Curtis watches Daredevil. Curtis,
No,
thank
God,
you.
no.
Okay, wow, I was worried. I was concerned. But no, that's a Matt question for sure. I'm just letting that listener know that Matty Ice is sitting here with no interest in what we're talking about 95% of the time.
Let's go.
But Matty Ice is really excited about a double
So
episode
they really
of
called you
Daredevil
Matty,
tonight.
like you were Matty Ice to everyone in high school.
Not everyone, but
the-
like
the ball-
for
the ball
the
team.
rest of that summer to the football team, yeah.
Did anyone
It
in your high
sucked.
school have a bad nickname?
None that I can say on air.
Okay, well, I want to hear about them during the break. Will you tell me?
No.
Okay, well, I'll find out. We are
Not
going
in
to
a
bring
room full of microphones.
everyone turn off your mics. We're bringing on Adam Jude. He joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
Baseball is back. Julio Rodriguez and the 2025 Mariners are ready to play ball.
God, Julio, home run!
Opening day is just 2 days away.
It's a mentality. It's time to battle. It's time to fight.
Seattle Sports will be live from Soto all day, including Wyman and Bob at Victory Hall from 2 to 6 p.m. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners, and your exclusive home for opening day.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's with limited time savings on the supplies pros need. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And don't miss your chance to activate and earn 3 times the points on select DeWalt and Klein tools. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
Bracket busted? Don't worry, Madness Maniacs, you still have a shot at winning. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 16-team bracket. It's not too late to join in on the fun. It's the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 16-team competition will win a $500 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino.
Well, the longer days, the sunny breaks in the weather, they've got me dreaming of summer, right? Getting out in the golf course, heading on vacation, or just enjoying our beautiful Northwest region. Make this summer one to remember by looking and feeling your absolute best. You can do it, and if you start right now, you can accomplish that goal before Memorial Day weekend. It's Mike Salk here, and 45 days is all it takes. You can lose almost a pound each day. I lost 35 total with Eastside Weight Loss Clinic, and I'll let you in a little secret. Those 45 days, they're not even that hard. No crazy dieting, no cardio or crazy exercise. Definitely no pills or injections with any kind of potentially scary side effects. None of that. You're eating healthy, delicious meals that you make for yourself and buy at the grocery store, and you watch the pounds absolutely fall off. Find out if you can do it. I know you can. A 15-minute call is all it takes. No obligation. Schedule it right now at eastsideweightlossklinik.com. You got nothing to lose other than like a ton of weight. Go to eastsideweightlossklinik.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
I've always said, the car sales in the 1980s and 1990s, earned the rep that we have today. The concerns that consumers have because of what has happened in our industry in the past, they're warranted. It's our job to show them that that's not how business is done anymore, right? It's very different business. It's much more transparent. There's much more information that's available to people, and we're much more customer focused than I think the car industry was, 20, 30 years ago. I'm more focused on providing good customer service and relationships, because I think if you take care of people, money will always come. So I think just the philosophy and the focus for us has changed, where I was constantly chasing a paycheck, and now I'm just constantly trying to take care of customers and employees, because I know if I do that, then my paycheck will take care of itself.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Breaking a little over an hour ago from ESPN's Jeff Passan. The Mariners and catcher Cal Raleigh are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension. That deal would start this season and buy out 3 years of free agency. Per Ken Rosenthal, Raleigh's deal includes a full no-trade clause. Adam Jude of the Seattle Times joining us in 30.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Seattle Times reporter Adam Jude joining us now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Hey, Adam, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. This turned into a very busy day for you and your colleagues covering this team. First, were we expecting an extension for Cal this offseason, or was this a bit of a surprise?
A bit of a surprise. I know my colleague Ryan Divish had sat down with Cal Raleigh just over a week ago and talked about all sorts of things. Cal is the cover boy for our annual season preview special section that comes out on Thursday for opening day. And Dean Rutz, our ace photographer, with a great cover shot there too. And why wouldn't you feature Cal, right? He led the team last year in WAR. He's become, as Ryan wrote, kind of the conscience of this team. He's really become everything. Julio is, the superstar, the face of the team, but Cal is really the backbone and becomes so much for this franchise in so many ways. He's the best two-way catcher in baseball, Platinum Glove Award winner. And this deal just made way too much sense, right? And it almost made too much sense that you felt like it might never happen. And, of course, it does. Talking to sources in the front office today and this morning, this has really come to a head here in the last week or so. The Mariners wanted to get this done before opening day, and obviously Cal did too. He said that publicly over the last year or two that, he wants to remain in Seattle long term, and if he can be a Mariner for the rest of his career, he's a guy who's on track to go into the Mariners Hall of Fame someday. He's that good. He's that valuable to this team right now, and it just makes so much sense. And what a good feeling for the Mariners. What a good feeling for Cal and the entire fan base that they were able to wrap this up before opening day.
Adam, what's the process like for you when something like this breaks? Like, walk me through your process.
Oh, man, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes machinations with this. We did sort of get whisper right before Jeff Passan was able to get the tweet out first that something was about to go down. So our antenna was up already, and again, Ryan Divish, he wrote 3,000 words last week for our cover story on Cal, and he's established a good relationship with Cal over the last couple of years. Ryan, as I think a lot of people know, was a small college catcher back in his days, perfect heights for a college catcher. And Ryan and Cal Raleigh had bonded, I think, over that the last few years. And again, Cal, he just means so much to this franchise. And good on the Mariners for recognizing that and recognizing that they needed to get something done now. Of course, it's been a roller coaster of an offseason in a lot of ways. Obviously, the Mariners have been criticized, and a lot of it rightfully so, for not making the moves and not opening their wallets when it felt like this was the opportunity to do it, right? The window for contention, the window for this core roster is wide open right now. And so many of us were kind of left scratching our heads, right, that they didn't make that one move to kind of push them over the top this offseason. But the Mariners do deserve some credit. Let's not lose sight of the fact that, this is another in a long line of extensions that they have made, highlighted by the Julio deal a few years ago. That could be worth over $200 million by the end of Julio's tenure here. They did it with Luis Castillo as well. They have spent on guys that they've identified as core pieces, and certainly a guy like Cal is absolutely that, a guy they drafted in the third round in 2018 and developed and now turned into one of the best players in baseball. I think the logical next question is, can they do this for one of their pitchers? Is Logan Gilbert next up? I don't know. I haven't heard anything specifically, but Logan and Cal Raleigh are certainly close. They're in that same draft class in 2018. It would make all the sense in the world, too, to try to luck up someone like Logan Gilbert long term. And if they were going to do it for somebody else, he makes way too much sense as well.
Speaking of those pitchers, how much of Cal's signing? I know that we talk about, hey, 30-plus home runs in each of the last 3 seasons, and a part of maybe the most iconic Mariners moment, iconic Mariners home run of the last 10-plus years easily, obviously sending this team to the playoffs. However, I'm curious, Adam, how much of this is also the Mariners cementing what they do well in terms of that pitching staff? What's Cal's relationship like with those guys? And do you think that the Mariners see him as being a hugely important part of what they do on the mound as well?
Absolutely. I don't think you can overstate just how important Cal is to these pitchers, too. That's not to take anything away from the pitchers and how talented they are, but I think they would all tell you to a man that Cal means so much to them. They put their trust in Cal. We've seen some funny moments last year where, Bryce Miller will shake off Cal Raleigh trying to get to another pitch that he wants, and Cal just refuses. He's not going to call another pitch. This is the pitch I've called. You're going to throw this pitch. And, Bryce has come around to the idea, Cal knows way better than I do. Cal's put in the work. Cal's done all the scouting reports. Cal's the brains and the backbones of this whole thing. Put your trust in Cal, and that's what the organization is doing right now, too. And it's a smart investment. There is some risk, of course, anytime you're going to lock up a player to a long-term extension, particularly a catcher, someone at this position. Cal is now 28 years old. You're giving him a 6-year deal. That means you've locked him up through his age 33 season, and you just never know at that position, particularly for as tough as Cal is, for as many innings, for as many games as he's going to catch back there. He led the league last year in games caught. He wants to be back there, 6 days a week, which is on one hand insane that you're just asking so much of your body. What is that going to look like 5-6 years down the road? We just don't know. But again, if you're going to trust anyone to put in the work to make sure his body's feeling good, to be back there as often as possible, it's Cal Raleigh. And again, I just think this is a great deal for him and a great deal for the franchise.
Adam, I try not to do this between Stacy and I, just in a regular conversation, but since you're here, I'm going to put this on you. I'm happy that Cal is here, locked up 6 years. All right, what do we do now? What's next? What's the next move for this organization?
Yeah, again, it's a logical question because you can immediately point to Logan. You can immediately point to George Kirby, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu. These are all logical extension candidates as well. Again, guys that the Mariners have drafted and developed and turned into absolute stars. And for a couple of those younger guys, you could absolutely project their best years are way ahead of them. But again, baseball and economics is different than, football and basketball too. These guys are under club control here for quite a few more years, certainly Bryce and Brian. And so it'll be interesting. The one benefit to an extension like this is it does give the front office and the organization, some payroll certainty going forward, right? I think the structure of it now, Cal gets a $10 million signing bonus this year, but just a $1 million for the 2025 payroll budget. That should free up some money here this summer if the Mariners are in contention, like I think we all expect them to be, to go out and make another move ahead of the trade deadline, right? They made the biggest move of the summer last year and getting Randy Arozarena and took on some salary there. And I think they've left themselves a little bit of wiggle room to do that again this year. Again, the Mariners have one of the best prospect farm systems in all of baseball. Those prospects didn't quite have the value that the Mariners had hoped they would this winter because there are so many teams feeling like they are in contention this year. There's only really two teams across the sport that are in full rebuild mode, and that's the Miami Marlins and Chicago White Sox. Well, once we get to the end of July, there's going to be a few more teams you would think that are going to be out of it. They're going to be looking around and going, you know what, this isn't our year. We need to try to sell off some veteran pieces here. And just like the Mariners did with the Arozarena, just like they did with Luis Castillo a few years ago, the Mariners should be in position to pounce. And we've seen Jerry Dipoto is willing to trade prospects. He is willing to put himself out there and go make a big move. And I think if there's any year to do it, it feels like this is the year. It's such a pivotal year for this franchise with the pitching staff they have, with what the rest of the AL West looks like. It's as winnable as it's ever been, and the Mariners need to do everything they can this summer to go out and win it.
A question, Adam, I'm sure you've gotten a couple times over the last hour, but what does this mean, if anything at all, for Harry Ford?
Yeah, that's a good question. Again, you have a franchise player in Cal Raleigh. You don't worry about what the guy behind you is going to do, right? Harry Ford has value. He's going to be a good major league player. I think he's going to be a good major league catcher. The catching position is the hardest to predict, I think, of any prospect in baseball, just because of the demands that go into the defensive work and working with, to your point, Bump, and Stacy, the work you go in with these pitchers. You have to know all these individual pitchers and build that rapport and that chemistry. Know what pitches work for them in each individual account, and in some ways that takes away from the catcher's work. Hitting, right? Hitting becomes secondary for a catcher. So it's really hard to project some of these young catchers what they're going to look like 2, 3, 4 years down the road. Harry Ford has a ton of value. They've experimented with him a little bit in left field in the past. There's been some talk about that just because he is such a good athlete that he would be capable of maybe moving around the diamond a little bit. I still think you keep him at catcher long term as long as possible. If that means he's Cal Raleigh's backup and maybe a part-time player in the outfield at some point, that's still a valuable piece. If it means he's a trade chip at some point, I could certainly see that as a possibility as well. Again, Harry Ford and his future is a distant, secondary concern when you're trying to lock up a franchise player like Cal Raleigh here, and they absolutely made the right move in that regard.
What do you think? Stacy asked me this question earlier, and I thought it was interesting. I feel like Cal has already been in that leadership role, right? This is just making the money make sense, right? All right, he's already our leader out there. Does anything change with Cal now that he is inked up for 6 years, or do you feel like it's just going to be business as usual in the 2025 season?
Yeah, it's more or less business as usual. We saw over the last year and a half just how much better he got defensively. He was a good defensive catcher before. Last offseason, he really made a point to improve the pitch framing, and he won the Platinum Glove because of it and became one of the best pitch framers in the game. It's a really underrated part of the sport, and he's putting in the work. Again, that these pitchers trust him. I think back to last summer, it was a real turning point, for the entire team, but certainly for Brian Wu. When Cal Raleigh sat him down at Fenway Park in Boston and said, "Hey, man, you are really, really good. I don't think you understand how good you are. We trust in you. You need to believe in yourself more. You need to push through maybe some of these minor injuries, an aching hamstring that's bothering you a little bit. You need to come up with a better routine between starts. You need to push through this. You're not going to feel 100% every time you step on the mound." And I think that was the right person at the right time to deliver that message to a young pitcher like Brian Wu. It really resonated with Wu. I talked to him about that. I wrote about that last summer. That was Cal Raleigh taking the initiative and really being a team leader in that moment. And we saw what happened with Brian Wu over the last 2 months after that. He pitched, I think, 7 innings virtually every start the rest of the season and became one of the best pitchers in the American League. And again, that's not to take away anything of the natural talent and the work that Brian Wu puts in, but that was Cal Raleigh recognizing what a young pitcher needed to hear, and he delivered that message, and it was well received. And again, I think that's just a glimpse of what Cal Raleigh means to this team, to the pitching staff, and to the entire franchise, and to this entire fan base as well. And now he's going to be locked up for at least another 6 years.
Very cool insight about those relationships, though, Adam. Speaking of the Seattle Times opening day cover and that special, let's talk about opening day right around the corner. You guys will have a very long day. It's going to be the 27th. But obviously, I think people, for all the offseason criticism, much of which was fair, are always going to be eager to see what a team actually looks like. And I will say the AL West at the top looks like it's going to be another close race, with the Rangers, if they can stay healthy, maybe as a favorite. But I know that this could still be a pretty tight division. What does Seattle need to do early, outside of win? Obvious answer, but what is the most important thing if they leave April to have accomplished?
Yeah, great question. I think it's really imperative you've heard this before as well, but it's imperative for Julio to get off to a good start. His first 3 full years in the majors, he's been kind of notorious slow starter. I think they try to combat that this winter. I know they try to combat that this winter by getting him in more games, getting him more at bats. He definitely had the most at bats he's ever had in the spring. I think 51, 52 plate appearances. He saw, I think, right about 200 pitches in spring training games, which was double what he saw last year. I think he saw just over 100 pitches in spring training games last year. He saw right about 200 this year. The idea was just to get him, going, get him feeling good at the plate, not easing into the season, being already sprinting. They want him on fire. They want him feeling good, and by all accounts, he is. And I think all 3 of those outfielders, the Mariners are banking on all 3 of those guys to produce at a really high level. When you talk about Victor Robles, Randy Arozarena, and Julio, we've got a story this week coming out about those 3 too, and how much fun they are together, the relationship that they've built with each other. It's going to be an adventure every night, some of it good, some of it bad, with those 3 guys in the outfield. They can track down some balls, particularly when you talk about Julio and Victor in the outfield. I think it has a chance to be one of, if not the best, outfield in all of baseball. I was talking to Jerry DePoto. He thinks 100 steals combined between those 3 is realistic. And I think the Mariners as a team are going to try to challenge for the franchise record in steals this year as well. We're going to see them go wild on the bases. Sometimes that's going to look awfully awkward. Sometimes it's going to look really good, but that's going to be part of their blueprint this year. Be fast, be aggressive, manufacture runs in different ways, not just sit back and wait for the 3-run home run. Put the ball in play a little bit more, and do some of the little things we hear Dan Wilson talk so much about, right? When you think back to 2001, that wasn't necessarily the most talented team in baseball, but it was a true team. Those guys played well together. They did the little things. That's one thing we keep hearing from Dan Wilson. The little things, the details matter, and I think that's going to show up here early. If that shows up here early in the season, I think that could portend a really strong season for the Mariners. If they're fighting to get a runner over to third base with less than 2 outs, if they can't get those sac flies, if they can't move runners over occasionally with a sac bunt, that means maybe the messaging and the strategy isn't working. But if we do see those things kind of take shape, then I think that could smell, a nice run here for the Mariners this year.
Keep your eyes out for that Seattle Times opening day special on Thursday, obviously. And keep an eye out for Adam's work all year long. He is Seattle Times reporter Adam Jude. Adam, thanks so much.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
See ya. Let's get to an uninterrupted. No more breaking news, Mariners.
I mean, if you want breaking news, I'm good.
Hang tight for
good.
15. Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
Could you imagine if we went through the first 2 downs and then we were like, Logan Gilbert
Breaking
contract
news.
extension, and we just never will know what 3rd and 4th down
all
is.
Good. I'm not mad.
First down, the Seahawks have signed tight end Eric Saubert from the Niners. Tell us about him.
Eric, my man Eric, 8 years in the game. He was a 5th-round pick. 11 receptions, 97 yards, 1 touchdown in 2024. Week 11 against the Hawks, he played in 61 snaps, basically all of them. Had 1 target and 1 reception. He did go 6 straight weeks without a target. So that tells me, and then I watched the film on the young man like I always do. He's 30 years of age, so I can call him young, 33 actually. He's your blocking tight end. For the Niners, they put him in motion. They got him on the end. They started him out wide. They brought him in tight. They got him on that second level. He did go out and run some routes from time to time, but this is not why he is here. If you go 6 straight weeks without a target, you know why you're in the game.
Yeah.
But this is what Kubiak needs. He still needs to make the football team. But this type of tight end, the bruiser, the guy who isn't going to get any targets, who's not going to be upset about him, he just wants to go and hit and block, and that's what you need. We saw Kubiak with the Saints. He would line up his tight ends in the backfield, motion left to right, just creating angles and leverage for the tight end and for the running backs in the run game. We'll see how he does in OTAs and training camp and all that good stuff. And we saw a mock draft, or talked about a mock draft, where the Hawks actually took a tight end at the number 18 spot in Loveland out of Michigan. We'll see, but I understand the pick. It makes complete sense to me. Not the pick, the acquisition makes complete sense to me. He's a bruiser, and you need that type of tight end in this offense to help that run game.
Second down. Sports Illustrated is reporting a possible move by the Seahawks. What name should we be watching for?
Wyatt Teller, and I didn't realize the connection until you said something. Wyatt Teller, he's a guard for the Browns, and he played in every single snap except for week 3 against the New York Football Giants. But he's durable, and there's supposed to be a comp pick going over to the Cleveland Browns. We shall see. This is like the 3rd offensive lineman I've seen Sports Illustrated connect the Seahawks to. The last 2 have been picked up. It was Jenkins, and then there's another one, I believe. I forgot his name.
It starts with a D.
Yeah, it starts with a D. But, yeah, okay. It's not for a lack of trying. Right, we want these guys to make moves. We want them to support the offensive line room. They're talking to guys. They've been connected, but things have to happen. In this situation right here, Why doesn't have any? He doesn't have a choice. Right, you're gonna work a trade out. You go over from Cleveland to the Seattle Seahawks. We shall see. But Wyatt Teller, a guy who you can bring in to hold down a guard spot, hopefully teach these other young men how to be a professional in the NFL. He's been durable over the past couple of seasons, played in every snap, like I mentioned this year, except for week 3. So Wyatt Teller, another offensive lineman that you should be looking for.
Third down. What's something you heard about Aaron Rodgers that you found interesting?
You know, when I travel, Stacy, there's a part in the season where I accumulate so many points with Enterprise. Your boy is driving foreign cars. Like, your boy's whipping it. I'm dipping. You catch me in the Beamer. You catch me in the Audi. I'm gone. All right, but at the beginning of the year, you know, it's a bit more humble. I'm driving regular sedans and stuff.
You got the Ford.
Yeah,
Focus.
Because the points ain't up yet.
Yeah.
They still make Ford Focuses?
I don't know.
I haven't seen one in a while.
Do they still make Chevy Cruises? I have one, but I don't know if they make them
I think
anymore.
they do. I think they do. I've driven one, actually, like last year.
They're fun.
But Aaron Rodgers pulled up to Pittsburgh for that 6-hour meeting in a Chevy Malibu. You know what this tells me? He's a humble man. He's coming in humble. He could have pulled up in an all-black Tahoe in the backseat with security in the front. He could have pulled up in the Escalade, the Cadillac Escalade. He didn't do that. He could have pulled up in anything else, but he said, you know what? I mean business. And the Chevy Malibu is a dependable car that shows maturity and shows I'm not about to flash. I'm just here to get this work done. But I imagine that he went to Enterprise or Hertz or wherever. Hey, if any of y'all want to get a deal, you know, holla at your boy. I use both of y'all. All right, Enterprise, Hertz, holla at me.
Chevy Malibu for that matter.
Malibu, let's get it. But he pulled. I imagine he pulled up to Enterprise. It was like, all right, let me get the A5, and they're like, all we have is the Malibu, and he took it. So no, I thought it was interesting because a guy like Aaron Rodgers could drive whatever he wants to, and maybe he's setting a tone. Maybe he's changing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Stacey. He's trying something new.
So this is Chevy Malibu, Aaron. He's like, I'm different.
I'm different.
Things are different now.
I'm different. I don't need.
I'm not going to go on Pat McAfee during the season.
I don't need the finer things in life.
I'm not going to yell at my wide receivers or talk about them not paying attention to the red line.
It's over.
In a post-game press conference.
Or talk about distractions while I'm a distraction.
Yeah.
It's over for him.
I'm not going to get into a fight with DK Metcalf, okay?
He's not. He's good. Or George Pickens. He might want to chill with that, though. DK and George against Rodgers.
You don't want to.
You don't want that smoke.
I don't think you want to fight both at once. You need to get one on your side.
Well, you know, you're 41. You shouldn't be fighting anyway.
No, you really shouldn't. But, I mean, shoot. We'll see if he's even playing.
He's going to play. He's going to start. Chevy Malibu, mature move for a 41-year-old man who has everything.
You know who's going to, I think, have a nice little bounce-back season? Our friend, Russell Wilson. I think that there's, for my sake, I need Russell Wilson to get a job. Fourth down. What would be the biggest mistake of the NFL draft?
Sometimes just keep it simple. Tennessee Titans. Draft Cam Ward. Don't move back. Don't try to flip anything. He's the best quarterback available. You've had horrible luck or evaluation when it comes to drafting your quarterbacks. We saw Malik Willis. We saw the Mayonnaise King. It's just not good over there for you. You want to start your franchise and on the right foot. You want to try to recreate something or start something different. Go get yourself a quarterback because you're looking at this division. It is open. Houston Texans should win this thing. They're going to get better from last year. But the Colts are trying to figure out who's going to be their quarterback. Jacksonville has a new head coach over there. Tennessee Titans. It's really that simple. Don't do anything crazy. Draft Cam Ward. You have a private session with him sometime this week. It's really that simple because I keep seeing these mock drafts of them trading back and doing all this stuff. Don't. Just draft Cam Ward. And let's get this thing over with.
Are we just doing the thing we always do around draft time, like overcomplicate something because we're like, well, we got to make it spicy. We got to keep it moving. Because I think the same thing. I'm like, I remember, it was like over a month ago, Adam Schefter had that report. He mentioned it about like the Titans being willing to trade that. And I just thought, this feels like the most obvious selection, which is what you're campaigning for. That's what your entire answer is like, don't make it complicated.
Yeah.
You need a quarterback. You have the number 1 pick. This guy's the best player. Take him. But I remember seeing that report going, why? What would be the reason?
There is no reason. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have a franchise quarterback. You got to build. You have Calvin Ridley over there as well. I also mentioned that they should take a swing at one of these older veterans like a Keenan Allen to help out Calvin Ridley. It's really simple. Don't complicate this.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
The Kraken take on the Calgary Flames tonight at 6 p.m. on Amazon Prime and Kong TV. And I regret to inform everyone that Married at First Sight is over.
It's a wrap.
Don't worry, it's a
Did they
wrap.
all get married?
Only
At first sight.
Spoiler alert. Only one of the couples
Really?
stayed together.
That's pretty good, though. I think most times it's only 1 or 2, right?
Yeah. I just, when you watch 6 couples over 3 months of TV and only one of them stay together, you're like, what am I investing this time in this show? I'm moving on. Hype Train coming your way next.
Breaking news.
Breaking just now from Jeff Passan. Catcher Cal Raleigh and the Seattle Mariners are finalizing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension.
I love it. Take care of the dumper, man. He is the captain of this team. I think it's safe to say he is the captain of this team, and I'm excited for them, man, because he's one of those guys that when you think about this era of the Mariners, he's one of the first names that's going to pop into your head. I'm just happy for Cal. I'm happy for the Mariners. They did the right thing.
Read more at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports app.
Music that moves your soul. Live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, April 24th. Get tickets before they sell out at muckleshootcasino.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's with limited time savings on the supplies pros need. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And don't miss your chance to activate and earn 3 times the points on select DeWalt and Klein tools. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items.
From whiplash to herniated discs, there are a few car accident injuries we've all heard of. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains that even the most common injuries differ from one another.
Pre-existing conditions, health history, beginning of treatment. There are hundreds of factors that make every person and every injury unique. While these variables aid medical treatment, the strongest case recoveries must also take them into account.
Could you explain a little bit more?
Our team at Pendergast Law is obsessed with turning over every stone to differentiate each case. This requires thorough investigation, diligent listening, and relentless research. We never pursue cases with a one-size-fits-all approach. We built our success by treating every injury and every case with the individualized attention our clients need and deserve.
Pendergast Law's individualized approach to even the most common injuries makes the difference in case outcomes. It's another reason why I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed the musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Over the past decade, Washington state politicians have doubled state spending with no improvements to the issues we care about. Instead, we now have the third highest cost of living in the nation and a $12 billion deficit. It's time to tell legislators we need better results, not bigger taxes. Act now at affordablewashington.org. Paid for by people for an affordable Washington and Olympia, Washington. Top 5 donors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Alaska Air.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know coming your way in 15 minutes. Any question to the Mac and Jacks text line. That number is 866-979-3776. Right now, let's head to the station for a hype train. First one in. Congratulations, by the way, to Cal Raleigh signing a 6-year, $105 million contract extension with the Seattle Mariners. That reported from ESPN's Jeff Passan. This is your first hype train. Logan Gilbert is the next Mariner to sign an extension. I'm not saying when it'll happen. He's just the next. Bumper, you bored?
The next one, Julio's inked up. JP got some stuff to work out. It has to be Logan. It will be Logan. He's the next important piece of this whole thing, man. But here's my question. Can Cal play guard? You think he can play guard? Can you do that?
Can you
we
plug
work
and
out
play
a
it
deal
right
to
or
be like,
left guard?
listen, on your off days, you don't play on Sunday.
Got those glutes.
Just use the dump and run this wide zone.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, it's got to be Logan, man. It will be Logan. I believe that. I'm putting it in the universe. I'm manifesting this. I will pray about it tonight.
Logan Gilbert is the next Mariner to sign an extension. Bump's praying on it. Curtis, are you boarding this hype train?
I was very skeptical of any of these young Mariners signing extensions until today, when Cal obviously agreed to his with the Mariners, which puts me in a much more optimistic light. So I think, yeah, Logan Gilbert does get an extension from the Mariners as well. We're boarding that train. Of course we are. And that train's heading to October, baby.
Yeah. I'll board this train as well. We'll get all aboard this one. And I think part of that is just all three of us absolutely hoping that that's going to be the case. Next hype train into the station. This one is a kind of like a take the field type hype train, okay? I'm going to tell you one thing the Seahawks will not do. And if you think it's going to be anything else, you're boarding. So this is what it sounds like. The Seahawks' first-round selection will not be an offensive lineman. This stemming from, obviously, Daniel Jeremiah's latest mock where they take a tight end, Colston Loveland, but it could be anything. I mean, as long as the answer isn't offensive lineman, you're boarding.
Booker is the only name that I keep hearing that is worth that pick at 18 at offensive line. Everyone I talk to who knows what they're talking about, everything I read, everything I see, says you don't have to do that right now. So, no, they're not going to take an offensive lineman because John you don't like paying him? Why are you going to take him at 18 when it's not – the 18th pick isn't a spot for that right now. Not in this draft. At number 9, you took Charles Cross at a tackle. Tackles are at a different premium. It's just different for a tackle. But we're talking guard. So, nah, they're not going to take an offensive lineman.
Okay, so Bump is boarding this train. The Seahawks' first-round pick will not be an offensive lineman. It'll make people mad. But, Curtis, are you boarding this train? Matt, why do you look so upset?
I'm just so confused by who is and isn't boarding. The double negative is really throwing me. I'm sorry.
It makes it fun, okay? It makes it fun.
But confusing to an idiot.
Okay, their single biggest need is an interior offensive lineman. And with their first pick, they're not going to do that. So if you think like, do you get what I'm saying?
No,
Matt's so
I still
mad.
don't.
Okay, Bump is boarding. Bump's boarded. Curtis, are you boarding?
I am not boarding that their first pick will not be an offensive lineman.
See, it makes
Matt.
sense.
Do you honestly think it makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell by how high my voice is getting.
I think it will be an offensive lineman. It has to be, right? Like, this is the most glaring need on this team. And it can also be a pick for the future as well. So I think they do take an offensive lineman at pick number 14. I think they trade up. That's right.
Spicy.
I don't even know who has pick 14. I just threw a number out there.
I mean, trading ahead of the Cardinals, a team that will probably take an offensive lineman. So there you go. I am boarding this train because I think they will not select an offensive lineman with their first pick.
Can I say something?
Yes.
The conversation Matthew is having on this text line is just beyond me. It's I don't know what the heck's going on. I don't know what y'all are talking about, Matthew, but it seems interesting. And if you like it, I love it, and I support you in this conversation.
Thank you, Bump. My best friend also loves the Netflix Defender series of Marvel shows because they all rocked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next train?
Next train. We're moving on. This one's very controversial, okay? And I want to make it clear. This is not me being ageist. This is not me being classist. This is just me having a debate with my roommate the other day. She's moving the exact same weekend I am, and we were both debating, like, when do you get movers versus ask friends? If you are over 35, you cannot ask your friends to help you move. Are you boarding this train?
If you're
It's a controversial hype train.
Over 35 and you're a male, don't be asking me to help you move, dog. Like, if you're moving, now I might offer, but you can't hit me up like, hey, dog, moving this
Like
weekend.
meeting with your
Can you come and help me? Nah, bro. I probably will, but don't ask me.
Right.
If you are a woman, I'm old school. If you're
Sure.
a woman, I don't care how old you are. You need some help, yeah, I'll come over
Or
and
just
help you
things I
move.
can't lift.
Yeah, it's just I might be stronger than you, so it
Look,
makes
as a
sense.
smaller person,
It makes sense.
I have no
Stacey's
choice
not
in this matter.
Strapping the dryer to her back on one of those contraptions that like movers wear.
No, you guys know what I've already done. I packed boxes in my kitchen. Ask me if I can move them downstairs.
No.
Nope. Curtis, if you are over 35, you cannot ask your friends to help you move. Are you boarding?
I'm bored because, I mean, you're an injury risk at that point, right? Our backs aren't they don't work the same as they did
We
when
don't
you're
have it like that anymore.
Yeah, when you were 23, 24, just moving your friends for pizza and beer.
Exactly.
Pizza and beer doesn't move me as much as it used to.
Nah.
Like, I can get that myself now.
Yeah.
It's
Pay my
called
PUD
expendable
bill.
cash.
You know, pay my PUD bill.
Ooh, man. Okay. Yes, I'll board this train. I think, and this is controversial for this reason. There are many people that would say, well, movers are crazy expensive. If my friends are willing to help and I don't have a lot to move, why would I not ask them? And that is a completely fair take. And in that case, yeah, ask your friends. No one's actually shaming you. But there is a point when you shouldn't feel bad for telling your friend, I cannot.
Right.
Maybe you've
I
got
think it also-
kids. Maybe
Got 3 kids.
you've got a bad back.
Got soccer games this
There is
weekend.
just an age you hit where you go, I'm so sorry. Like,
I think
is
it
there
also-
something else I can do?
It also depends on the size of the place, like what you're moving from. Because if you're moving from like a 2-story place, 3-story place
Yes.
with multiple couches,
Yes.
it's like I cannot do that. I'm sorry.
Every single person I've talked to said get movers.
Yeah.
Every single person.
If you can afford it.
If you can
know?
afford it. It is in many cases prohibitively expensive, and I can recognize that. But it's just, or be prepared for a very, 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 very long day. And important, Mac and Jack's text line listener says, I would pay someone to not help them move. That would be what I would do. I'd be like, can I contribute to funds? I will pay to
Yeah.
not go do this.
I'll help. I'll throw 50 your way.
I don't have that in me anymore. What's next? I'm going back to sports for our last one. John Schneider made it clear they want to run the ball, and they're going to do it. The Seahawks will have a 1,000-yard rusher in 2025.
They're going to have a 800-yard rusher and a 600-yard rusher and a 300-yard rusher. With their powers combined, they will go over 1,000. But one single 1,000-yard rusher, I don't think that's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that it's going to be by committee, and that's the best way to do it as a running back. If you want, to extend your career a bit more and keep the hits off your body, it will jack you up when it's time to get paid, though. It's a double-edged sword. But, they're going to have 3 that contribute to about 2,000.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt our answer before I have Curtis actually give his, and he probably won't because we are getting pushback from listeners.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, people are saying when your friend asks for help, you help your friend. And look,
I said I would. But don't ask me.
Begrudgingly.
but also, you get to an age where I no longer ask my parents for any kind of I am not going to ask my stepdad to help me move a single item of furniture.
Stacy.
He's elderly.
He's like 80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's 81. He's living life. He's living his best life.
He is.
You know what I mean?
Not moving anything.
No, he wants to watch what's that airplane show? The disaster in the air, airplane disasters. I don't know.
There are a lot of airplane disaster shows.
He wants to just watch that and hang out. He does not want to help, nor can he help move furniture anymore. I get what people are saying. You should help your friends. I am more likely to go pick you up from the airport at 7 a.m. than I am to help you move
picking up people from the
yeah.
airport's great.
Great,
It's
fine,
fun.
awesome, no
I'll pick you
problem.
up.
Yeah,
I'll drop you
drive
off,
out.
too.
We'll get coffee, but I'm not helping you move several large items of furniture at my big
360 says, what if your friends owe you 3 moves? Holy cow. That's a lot.
So the 360 has helped their
They've helped
friend
their friend
move 3 times.
Yeah.
So what did they get in
Love.
return?
If it's just pizza, I mean.
Pizza
I
and
mean,
beer.
Boy, yeah, they do owe you.
I would just say don't be afraid to say no. It's okay, especially, again, when you start talking about 30s, 40s, 50s, you've got kids.
You don't even say no. You just lie. This is where it's okay to lie. I got something to do this weekend.
Yeah.
Especially if you got kids.
What if you feel guilty?
Kids are the best.
Probably will.
Yeah, you got to let it go.
They're just incredible.
I got to let it
Seahawks
go.
will have a 1,000-yard rusher, by the way.
Okay.
We're boarding that train.
866-979-3776. Text your questions in for what I need to know now.
Baseball is back. Julio Rodriguez and the 2025 Mariners are ready to play ball.
God, Julio!
Opening day is just 2 days away.
It's a mentality. It's time to battle. It's time to fight.
Seattle Sports will be live from Sodo all day, including Wyman and Bob at Victory Hall from 2 to 6 p.m. Seattle Sports, the home of the Mariners, and your exclusive home for opening day.
Hey friends, Stacy Rost here. Who has some of the best deals on new Fords and Isuzus in the Pacific Northwest? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who has a large selection of the highest quality used vehicles in the Pacific Northwest? That would also be Wayscar Ford in Auburn. And what dealership promises no games, no gimmicks, and never any pressure to purchase? Yes, that is correct. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn still. Who is the only Ford dealer in all of Washington to offer a 5-day or 500-mile, no questions asked, 100% money-back return policy? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They offer free lifetime powertrain warranty on virtually all of their new Fords. Who's the only dealer that will purchase your used car, pay you right up front, and then once they resell your old car, return 50% of the profit to you? Only Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They've given over $750,000 back to customers who have sold them their cars. And finally, what dealership has been family-owned and operated in Auburn for over 103 years? You guessed it, Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Visit them at wayscarford.com.
I was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Meanwhile, at Xfinity.
So, influencer life going well?
Oh, yeah. I'm up to 32 followers.
Oh, that's something.
Yeah, posting my tap dancing videos is easier than ever because we engineered Xfinity Internet with 99.99% network reliability.
Plus, Xfinity Mobile with Wi-Fi Power Boost gives you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. But wait, tap dancing? You don't tap dance.
Hey, what I lack in skill, I make up with passion.
Do more of what you love and love how fast you do it with Xfinity Internet and mobile. And now through April 21st, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and one unlimited mobile line together for $25 a month for 1 year and save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus one unlimited welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus one unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Actual speeds vary. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
The Mariners are back in action at T-Mobile Park, and you could be there for big moments all summer long with a Flex membership. Flex plans are perfect for fans who want the freedom to choose their games and seats as they go, while still enjoying all the perks of being a member, like saving 10% or more on tickets with no fees, unlocking access to exclusive pre-sales and year-round discounts, and so much more. Join the squad today at mariners.com/flex.
Cal Raleigh wins it in the 10th inning for the Mariners.
Hey, Bill, got a leak? Need heat? Call Southwest today.
Southwest Plumbing, the one to call.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Bracket busted? Don't worry, Madness Maniacs, you still have a shot at winning. Head to seattlesports.com/win to fill out your 16-team bracket. It's not too late to join in on the fun. It's the Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort. And the winner of the 16-team competition will win a $500 Visa gift card. Register and find complete rules at seattlesports.com/win. Seattle Sports Bracket Bucks presented by Muckleshoot Casino.
The Lee Johnson culture to me is empowering all of your employees to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. You know, there are certain things that it doesn't matter what level of employment you are in our organization. If it's not the right thing or it doesn't feel right, they have the ability to take care of the customer and make a decision without asking a manager, without asking an owner. The end result is they can speak to the customer with more confidence. They're definitely more confident in what they're trying to provide the customer, what the customer is trying to accomplish, and just giving them a better experience.
His name is Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of more than 300 full-time employees for the Lee Johnson Auto family. It's the united understanding among Lee Johnson employees that customers are the purpose of our day. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776. Questions in right now. What I need to know. Let's see. This person said, which type of Mariner season makes for a better radio? Strong start, but then you start to falter in late summer, or start horrible, but rally and get back into contention. In both cases, pretend that the Mariners do still have a shot at the playoffs in September.
Rally. Rally.
Yeah.
Put the rally caps on.
Yep.
Let's go.
For sure a rally. Because it's, again, there's also a lot happening. Like there's still March Madness ongoing. Like, I'm okay with things starting slow. I don't think people are as upset about a slow start.
You fronting.
No, I shouldn't say that.
You are fronting.
I'm not okay with things starting slow for the Mariners, but I think it's less shocking when a baseball season starts slow and people can still be pretty optimistic. You know,
don't switch up now. I know opening day is in a couple days.
I think that falling out of it late, like they did last season, that stings so much more. And then you're just kind of watching to go, okay, when are they mathematically eliminated? And then you're doing complex, long division. Trying to figure stuff out. What I need to know, how big of a deal is it then, says one listener, for the Mariners to win on opening day?
It's a big deal. You never want to lose to a team from Sacramento. That's just rule number one. You don't lose to Sacramento teams, even though Stacy drove or rode in a Greyhound to Sacramento.
Yeah, very important to clarify. It was on a Greyhound bus, and it was a 16-hour drive.
My God.
And we got to Sacramento, and I was like, oh, it's just Federal Way.
Was that before tablets and stuff? Were you reading a book the whole time?
No, that was, so this would have been 2008.
So you had like the portable DVD player?
I don't even remember what I did. I think I just fell asleep. There were many times I thought we'd crash. I thought that was the end of me. I was like, this is where it ends for Stacy.
Sacramento.
What I need to know. I'm supposed to work on my wife's jet ski tonight. Problem is I have a garage fridge. What's the appropriate amount of garage beers one can have while working on your wife's stuff?
Appropriate? You can have a beer per half an hour.
Yeah, because especially if you're working with tools.
Yeah, beer per half an hour.
You start speeding that up, and all of a sudden we're talking about you're getting into danger here. What I need to know. Let's see. My 10-year-old daughter loves eating with her hands and usually works in some kind of interpretive dance the majority of dinner time. How much do table manners matter at home? Or should I let it go knowing it doesn't happen in road games?
She good. As long as, she's comfortable. She's in her safe place.
Yeah.
Yeah, the road games, those are more important wins than the home games.
For real. Home games, we can afford to lose some.
What I need to know, now that the Sweet 16 is set and all number one seeds are still in, which number one team will be the first to lose? And which number one team has the best chance to win it all?
Flow Riders are losing.
That's a bold proclamation.
Duke is losing. You want to know why? Because they're playing the Arizona Wildcats. Bear down, baby.
Oh, we both just...
Caleb Love, he's going off.
Okay.
I'm calling it right now.
Love, he did. He dropped 39 the other day, right?
The nation will be rooting for Arizona.
Was it 29 or 39 he dropped the other day?
29.
29?
Yeah.
You are not wrong about that point. I think that Arizona will be pulling the majority of fans watching that game, but I don't know, Curtis. I don't know.
I mean, who among us has the best bracket in the building?
Kurt, you do.
Yeah.
But who among us is in 14th place? You know what I mean? So maybe we leave that alone and move on, Stacy. What I need to know. Let's see. How many yards will Cup contribute this year? This one was for you, Bump.
600 to 700 and 4 to 5 touchdowns.
That's a good season.
Mm-hmm. That's all you need.
Are there any big running backs in the draft this year? Someone said, ask Bump if there are any big running backs in the draft. Like big names or big running backs?
Most of those running backs have big lower extremities because of the nature of their position. Omarion Hampton out of North Carolina is a beast. Check him out.
When washing dishes, do you use a sponge or are you like me and use a washcloth? Hang on. Who uses a washcloth?
You get one of those scrubbers.
You need texture of some kind. You cannot be using a regular washcloth.
I used to back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
But
But now, no.
No.
Got the little extendo clip on it, you know?
Ugh. The washcloth?
Washcloth.
Like a regular fabric washcloth?
Because then your hand's going to get dirty, too. Get one of the
It's never going to be completely dry. I hope you're
Yeah.
washing it frequently.
And it feels like you're just smearing bacteria.
Yeah,
all
you
around.
got to get a sponge, brother. What I need to know. Let's see. Someone asking who our fullback is going to be. I didn't even throw it because I don't think we know
It's
yet.
going to be Drake Thomas.
Okay. Did you just think of a name?
No, he's a
Real
backup linebacker.
Drake Thomas?
Yeah.
Okay.
The old linebacker to fullback conversion.
Yeah.
Classic.
It's natural.
Nick Ballore approach. What I need to know. My daughter's been self-learning about Greek mythology and has decided centaurs are her favorite mythological creature.
Say that again?
Centaurs.
Centaurs. That's my high school mascot. A freaking centaur.
Clover City
Really?
Centaurs.
Culver City. Centaurs.
That's that's
not
half man, half
City.
horse.
So it's a man's body in a horse's or a man's head in a horse's body.
Man's torso, and then here's the thing: Centaur is our mascot, weirdest mascot of all time. Our school was built in the 40s. What were they doing in the 40s?
What do you
Thinking
mean?
about centaurs,
centaurs predated the.
I'm
they never
saying though, but in
existed.
the 40s, you would think they just go with eagle, tiger,
Yeah.
bear,
Or something racist. Like my school did.
Oh, yours did.
Yeah, they did.
I mean,
A little bit.
They thought they were showing love. They thought they were showing love.
They thought, but
everything's racist
no,
now.
it's just centaurs.
Centaurs. Culver City
Centaurs.
Centaurs.
Dang, did they have a real live mascot?
It looked like.
You can't have a real life
No,
centaur.
I'm saying is someone who has like a fake horse bottom. They didn't have a live centaur, obviously.
It looked like a bear with a human's face on it. That's what it looked like.
That's
Because you couldn't
weird.
have like the horse's butt on it. Couldn't do it.
I got to do some Googling. We're ending the show. It's all chaotic. Wyman and Bob are coming up next.
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Uchenna, you redid his deal, and what do you guys expect of him?
Yeah, he had the surgery right after the season, and the doctors are excited, but it's going to be pretty close to his recovery. Like, what is he going to be a PUP candidate, or is he going to be out there without it? And we just ride it for a couple weeks. It's way too early to tell.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Febreze.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy. Febreze. La 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 la.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
With Progressive, renters can save on protection for the things that make your place yours, even things that don't make sense to everyone.
People
People always wonder why I don't get rid of my guitar since I never play. But it's like, what if I actually end up taking lessons? Sure, I've had it for 8 years, but if I get rid of it, then what will my New Year's resolution be next January?
Exactly. So bundle your renters and auto and save with Progressive and protect the things that make sense to you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms and conditions.
Pro Savings Days are back at Lowe's with limited time savings on the supplies pros need. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, save an additional $100 on every $1,000 you spend on select major appliances. And don't miss your chance to activate and earn 3 times the points on select DeWalt and Klein tools. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 3/28. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate or Lowe's.com for more details on qualifying items.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at OurRealSuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle? We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FLIP to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Discover the simple steps developed by Joe Arias, one of real estate's greatest rags to riches stories. You'll learn to flip properties and secure rental properties without using your own money and in your spare time. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop this week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FLIP to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FLIP to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FLIP to 64,000.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541.